the OnePlus 9 Pro.
The OnePlus 9 Pro. Oh my god, this phone feels incredible. The best processor, 120 hertz, 12 gigs of RAM, and a Hasselblad camera. What more could you want?
The HyperTouch on this bad boy is phenomenal.
The best model of OnePlus phone I have used to date.
Hello everyone, welcome to day 2 of PUBG Mobile Club Open North America Fall Split Groups C versus D. I am Span Cargo and with me is Mustache Dave. And Dave, what were your thoughts about last night's games and what are your expectations for the groups today?
Vibes NA, they're going to be sitting on the sideline here today, and they had a pretty decent day number 1. And Group C, Groups D, those are the squads playing here today. I think sitting on the sidelines yesterday, definitely getting them a little pumped up, ready to go here. Because remember, each group, they're only going to have 12 games. So they have a nice indicator on who to chase down, right? Who to chase down. They saw the performance yesterday from Godsent. They were popping off. So at least now they know a number that they want to at least match here today. So I think that's a good sign.
Yeah, they know they have to get about 61 points. That's what Godsent ended off on last night. The next team below them has 51, so around there is where these teams are going to be aiming for today's 4 games. And I'm kind of curious to see if there's going to be differences in these groups. I mean, obviously, we're going to have a whole different 16 teams coming into today's 4 games. I'm kind of curious, are they going to be doing about the same things, or are we going to have a little bit of a different dynamic with these different teams, personally?
Yeah, it's very interesting as well because even if, and I'm thinking ahead here, but even if it works out today, for example, a drop spot, say you drop Picado, okay, you're free and clear. That doesn't mean tomorrow it's going to be free and clear because with the rotating lobbies, they're going to go against a different group every day. So I think they definitely need to come in every single day like it's its own little mini tournament, I guess you could say, because they're going to be versing the same teams all 4 games long. So hopefully they can get as many points as possible, a chicken dinner, of course, and like you said, around 50 points-ish today.
That is the goal because, as you guys know, all of these guys are playing different groups every single day, but they only have 12 games for themselves to be able to move on into that group stage. But let's actually go ahead and in a moment we're going to be able to take a look at that format specifically, a little bit more graphic to give us some more details. But I think oh, well, there it is, the format for today. So we're currently in this group stage, so 32 teams. And today we have just 16 of the teams, 6 days of competition, 4 matches per day. And of course, those top teams are going to qualify towards the finals. We're going to have 16 teams, 4 days of competition, and 4 matches per day. Of course, going after them, there's also an opportunity for advancement to PMPL Season 2. And
yeah, this graphic is so important.
Yeah.
So important because look at that top team. So they need to be the top team in the lobby or at least around there here at the end of group stages to move into those finals. And the finals is going to be a combination of the top teams here in the group stages and those bottom teams from their PMPLs from last season fighting for that chance to break back into PMPL. So it's a mixture of teams popping off here in group stages and then those teams trying to fight to keep their spot. So it is going to be interesting. Like the battle, it's only starting here, Span Cargo. Like if you make it to finals, great, good for you, but it's a whole new adventure right after that point. So it's going to be interesting. Top teams, well, Godsend, they're up there so far. So
Yeah.
who's going to match them today? Who's going to match them today?
We know all those other teams are currently watching these games as well. Like, okay, who are we going to be put up against? Godsend definitely on their radar. I am curious to see who from C and D is going to be on there today. I have a couple teams I'm personally keeping an eye on, and are you keeping an eye on anyone, Dave, specifically for right now?
We're going to both be keeping an eye on at least 16 other teams here today. Hopefully not right out the plane getting taken out with that golden goose egg, the 0 points. And talking about points, we do have the points format as well, just in case this is your first PMCO tuning on in. This is how it goes. First place, that winner chicken dinner, 15 points. Second place, 12 points. Third place, 10 points. Goes down from there. But the placements that teams really need to watch out for, 8th through 12th, 1 point, and then 13th through 16th, 0.
Yeah, they really have to stay alive. There's nothing else to really say about that. Have to stay alive, get those placement points, and get those kill points as well. Every kill is a point, so obviously they're both very important to go on ahead and achieve that goal of 50 to 60 points, catch up the Godsend there for those teams. And we saw Godsend, they were able to stay alive into that end zone like almost every single game. Like, what did they end in top 5 all 4 games, and they got kills, and that's how they made themselves at the top of the leaderboard from last night.
Yeah, and I think that's what is so important here in this PMCO, in the group stage, is you want to be consistent when we're looking at both the kills and the placement points. And that's one thing that Godsend, they were really good at doing last night. They got a lot of kills throughout their games, and say if they took a fight and it wasn't working in their favor, they tried their best to kind of push the brakes, pump them brakes and take a look at the bigger picture and not commit all their resources to that one fight that they would have most likely have lost. So instead, they decided to go for those placement points, played a little safer, and they got them. And I think that's a really important takeaway, is to know when to take those smart fights and when is the time to not take a fight and just get those placement points that are so critical here with this tournament structure.
They're definitely determined to get a piece of that prize pool with those performances. So let's actually take a look at that prize pool, see exactly what these teams are playing for in terms of the winnings. And as you can see there, the prize pool is $30,000 in total. That first place spot is $4,000 in itself. Second gets $2,500, $1,700 for third, $1,500 for fourth, $1,300 for fifth, and so on for the rest of these guys, all the way down to 15th gets $800, 16th, $750, 17th through 32nd gets $500. That is a lot of schmeckles these guys can pick up.
A lot of schmeckles, and a lot of schmeckles to buy some UC as well. So everybody's going to be walking away pretty happy. 12 games, you finished first place, $4,000. That's pretty solid. Not only that, you will be most likely moving on into that next round, those finals, which is kind of like the main goal here. To get into the PMPL where the big money is at. But yeah, every single team here walking away with some cash in the pocket. You can't be too mad here, Spin.
Oh, it's pretty nice. Everybody's going to go on ahead and get a piece of that. So, but of course, all these guys want to try and find themselves towards that top. That's where the most amount of money is, as we'd all expect. So that's what the goal of all these guys currently want. Again, only 12 games for each team. And actually, for today, we already talked about it's groups C versus D, and we have 4 matches. Let's take a look at that schedule, see exactly what games we're going to be playing. And I think you're already expecting we're going to be starting off on Erangel. Then we have Sanhok, Miramar, and Erangel once again. I know I said it last night. Got a little bit of an Erangel sandwich happening here. Sanhok, Miramar in the center, and C and D are going to be playing.
If you squint your eyes, tilt your head, I can see it. I can see the Erangel sandwich.
I
totally get.
Yeah.
I can see the sandwich. And
Sanhok's like
each
the lettuce.
Group, and Miramar is the meat. It's got to be the meat. If Sanhok's the lettuce. But each group, they have 12 games that we keep talking about. 6 of those games will be played on Erangel, 3 Sanhok, 3 Miramar. Just just basic math off the dome right there. So that will be the schedule here for today. Like we keep talking about, Group C and D, all these players just getting warmed up, maybe in the shooting range, maybe doing a little TDM action, just getting those fingers nice and juiced and ready to go here today, because today is a big day for all these players. They got to get these points, baby. They got to try their best every single game. And we have some exciting games ahead of us here tonight.
I'm looking forward to them. Let's go on ahead and jump into a little bit of a short video for y'all to watch. So we'll be back after a short playing. So see y'all soon.
The OnePlus 9 Pro.
The OnePlus 9 Pro. Oh my god, this phone feels incredible. The best processor, 120 hertz, 12 gigs of RAM, and a Hasselblad camera. What more could you want?
The hyper touch on this bad boy is phenomenal.
The best model of OnePlus phone I have used to date.
Hello, y'all. Welcome back. So we already talked about the format, the schedule, everything going into today's games. But the thing that we have not introduced just yet is who exactly is in teams groups C and D. So let's go on ahead and introduce you guys to that really quickly. Pop it up on the screen, see who is going to be playing today's games. And Group C is Semper Invicta, Team B-Town, Bat Vudao, Taco Lovers, Team Bope Esports, Qatar, Stanza 7, Storm Gaming NA. Group D, Dave, is...
Yeah, Hot Jukes was definitely hyping up Taco Lovers last night, so a lot of hype coming in for that squad tonight. But talking about hype, we saw in the chat, the YouTube chat specifically, Team OP, they were spamming OP Baba all night long. And we kept saying, like, listen, chat, Team OP, they're not playing here tonight. They didn't care. They kept spamming it anyway. So tonight, all that spam, we'll keep it going, because Team OP, they are going to be playing here tonight. And one other team in Group D that I'm really looking forward to kind of seeing what they can do here has to be Null. You know, Null, just looking at their roster, they have a lot of previous players who have competed in competitive PUBG Mobile before. So I'm curious if that experience will kind of play a factor here tonight in their success. So I'm looking at Null. I'm looking at Team OP. Who are you looking at?
Honestly, in my notes, I also have Team OP, Null, and I put Jukes, Taco Lovers, so I was going to mention them as well, because I knew how Jukes was taking a look at them. But of course, the rest of Group D is The Chosen, Pakistani Rising Stars, Rejects, Godplay, Selfmade, and Vamp. All those teams are going to be playing today. But yeah, I mean, you basically said the teams that I was going to be keeping an eye on as well, and Taco Lovers have to be keeping an eye on for Jukes, since he's not going to be with us here tonight. But we have to see how they're going to be able to perform. I mean, otherwise, I'm not quite sure what to expect from the rest of these teams, but one thing I do know is that last night's games, a lot of these teams did go on ahead and, I think, surprise us or put on a really good showing that I wouldn't be surprised if some of these other teams go on ahead and show that they're here for a reason.
And those teams that we kind of hyped up in the pre-show, they didn't really pop off last night. They finished at the bottom of the leaderboard, so I'm curious. I spoke to Cheese from Taco Lovers a little earlier today, and Cheese told me that they are going to play loose here tonight. They are going to play loose. They're going to be looking for Cheese. Yeah, I said Cheese from Taco Lovers. So they're going to be playing loose. They're going to be playing wild, and they're going to be looking for a lot of frags. They're going to be playing real aggressive here tonight. And I'm like, Cheese, are you talking hot drops? Like, nah, not that crazy. But if they have the opportunity to take maybe a fight in the first 5 minutes and they feel like they can win it, Cheese is like, Dave, we're going for it. Like, that's just what they want to do here tonight. So I'm a little hyped to watch Taco Lovers and see if they kind of do what they've been telling me that they're going to do. And that's this all game aggression. So I'm curious to see if they can provide that entertainment here tonight.
I'm looking forward to that because I know last night, at least the first two games, the ones that I helped cast in, there wasn't too much early fighting. Like everybody somehow was able to stay away from each other. Even in the Sanhok game, somehow people were still able to kind of be enough spread apart where it was still more mid-end game fighting. So coming to today, I am kind of curious to see if we're finally going to have some of that early game fighting that I feel like I was kind of used to seeing at least one hot drop. That was what I was expecting, but it didn't end up happening.
Now I'm starting to think though, maybe Cheese was trolling me because they also added to the end of that, like they haven't been doing any practice, they haven't been watching the previous games or trying to research the teams. They said that they're going to come into these maps like it's scrims. So maybe Cheese was trolling. I don't know. We'll obviously find out here in a couple of moments. The players, everybody getting loaded up into a lobby to start day number 2 here of PMCO Fall Split NA 2021, baby. So we talked about taco lovers. YouTube chat, they're probably already talking about Team OP. I talked a bit about Null, their previous experience. That's 3 teams right out the gate to kind of watch. I'm looking at one other team, and I'm just throwing a curveball here. Based on logos alone, Vamp.
Ooh.
I have no idea who that is in their logo, so maybe if the chat can help me. Who do you know who is that in Vamp? Is that a picture of the player? Or?
I'm not sure, but I did notice that. I was looking at it, I'm like, oh, all these are nice, like, letterings. Okay, I see that. And then Vamp, it's like a person's face with little vampire teeth. And I do not know who that is, but I am curious about the story coming into that because their logo is definitely very different compared to everybody else's. So, eye-catching.
So maybe if you are a Vamp supporter, maybe slide into those DMs. Maybe let us know in the Twitch or YouTube chat. Who is it? who's the mascot for Vamp? So that's that. That is that. We saw a lot of interesting plays yesterday. God sent Wall Street Bets, HTV, Esports, first, second, and third. God sent Trey. Now we're talking about how important kills are here. God sent Trey had 11 kills to their name yesterday out of 4 games. That's solid. Right now, the kill leader out of the entire lobby. I'm curious if one of these players here today can maybe match that or even overthrow Trey for that position.
I definitely would think that that's the goal in their minds. Definitely getting that 50, 60 points, you already said. That kill point leader, we have to keep an eye on that definitely because there's always those stats about the MVPs coming in through the finals we have to keep an eye on. So, I mean, if anybody wants to start kind of giving a hint onto that, got to start performing here. I mean, we would love to see that come out from somebody. So it looks like we got another goal, 11 kills. I didn't know that.
Not only that, it's if you could finish the kill leader PMPL group stage, just it's a flex, right? It's just a flex. It's like,
Definitely.
Yeah, I came to the lobby, and hopefully your team qualifies as well. Hopefully they're one of the top teams moving on into the next round. If they're not, well, that's going to be kind of sad. But yeah, if you could walk away the MVP, the top kill leader, the most damage, you put that in the Twitter bio. I think so. If you don't have anything in the Twitter bio right now, MVP, PMCO group stage 2021 NA, I'll let it slide. I think I'll let that one slide. I think it's fair.
And we even talked about last night, you know, even if the team doesn't go on ahead and qualify, this is also an opportunity for individual players to really show themselves because there is a chance that, you know, going into the next stage, into finals, that there's potential for pickups. I mean, who knows? So, I mean, of course, team game, got to go on ahead and perform to the best of your ability. But if you do go on ahead and do absolutely amazing as an individual, that it could be some sort of an opportunity for you there as well.
Team game for sure. You know, I put the team ahead of everybody. Yeah. I mean, when I'm playing PUBG Mobile, I'm a support player. So the team game, it's in my blood, right? You need some meds, you need some bullets. I got you covered as long as you carry me to that first place when we're at chicken dinner. I'm not ashamed, though. I'm not ashamed to say the truth, all right? And it's such a true story, though, because we saw in previous seasons, PMPL, PMCO, there's always that star player that kind of just rises from the ashes out of nowhere and just pops off. And, you know, their team might not qualify like you mentioned, but they get picked up right away. Teams are constantly looking to improve, constantly looking to kind of fill those gaps, those voids that maybe they've been missing. And a lot of the times, one of the easiest fixes that I've noticed a lot of teams do, they just pick up a fragger. You know, they just pick up anybody who does the most damage. They say, hey, you want to spawn the team? Most of the times, like, yeah, I do. See you later, PMCO team. It's unfortunate, but a paycheck's a paycheck, and I get it. And that's always that first role that a lot of teams look to improve on if they're looking for a player, is always somebody who could just frag out.
I mean, that's because the fragger is one of the most important roles, even though arguably there's only 4 people in a squad, right? Basically, every single role is important. IGL, support, fragger, usually, you know, IGL support. That's what I was, IGL support. So I was also a support player, Dave. But yeah, those fraggers are definitely important when it comes to trying to get yourselves into situations. You obviously need that entry frag. You have to have that one person that's going to go on ahead and soak up all the damage, do all of the damage. So just all of them being put together to have that well-rounded team after PMCO, you know, usually group stage, you kind of do realize, maybe we are lacking in this one area. So you do go on ahead and start scanning out, seeing if anybody else could potentially fill that spot just a little bit better, because it is so much of a team game that you really have to have every single role, every single direction covered for yourself and your team to play into the next level.
And just the topic of roles in general right here in PMCO, for some players, for some teams, like that topic alone is a new concept, because I reached out to a couple people. You know, I always ask, like, hey, what's the roles? And they're like, we don't really have roles, you know, just try to win. We all know how to frag out. So, you know, a lot of teams right here in PMCO, they don't have those defined roles. And I don't know. I feel like it could be good, it could be bad, because I can imagine when you're in the heat of the battle, the action, and kind of a question for you, because you were an IGL, you just mentioned, without an IGL, I feel like everybody's going to be chirping in, like, over there, what should we do next type of deal. I feel like it can get really chaotic real quickly. So what's your thought on that, not having roles here?
They probably say that, but I would assume that they would have to have some sort of order amongst them. You know, there's always that one person that always goes and checks behind them. You know, just natural stuff to them, I guess, if they play enough together, maybe just don't realize that there's a role that they actually provide in the team. But I'm sure each of them does do something. Maybe just haven't put a label on it, but I'm sure that they have some sort of order. But giving yourself those roles and that defining like what specifically your job is, I do think could help, because I mean, you just described the most important or most horrible situation, in my opinion, is you're in a little bit of a stressful situation. Everybody's all like, oh, I think we all should do these things, 4 different opinions. We need to have that one voice that says, no, we're going to do this and we're doing it now, and everybody just has to listen. I mean, that's what you have to do as a team. If their IGL says something, even if you disagree with it, you have to go on ahead and do it and try to do it to the best of your ability, because that obviously gives you the biggest chance of success.
So true. So true. So, ladies and gentlemen, we got about 1 more minute before we get into the battle. I know they're saying start the game. Before we do so, do not forget, with the flagship performance, an immersive 120 hertz display with the new technology like HyperTouch, built specifically for gamers, all right? The OnePlus and 9 Pro are their best shots. Their best shots to climb up these leaderboards here today, and you watching as well. So that's it. Thank you, OnePlus 9. Ladies and gentlemen, about 30 seconds to go. Game 1, Erangel, Mustache Dave, Span Cargo. We're going to be bringing you that action here. I'm ready.
I'm very ready. I can't wait. Erangel is my favorite map, so I'm looking forward to see how it's going to start off. And of course, it start off with what exactly that playing path is. It could be a horrible one, or it could be a little bit more lenient. And I mean, we're going to find out in just a second. It looks like.
Let's go. All right, ladies and gentlemen, game 1, day 2, group stage. You already know, Group C versus Groups D. Both these groups, no games played yet. No games played yet on the overall leaderboard. So they got a fresh start. And, well, we're going to see what they do with this fresh start.
Yeah, looks like our first plane path is going to be a little bit more up to the northern side. I mean, yeah, last night we started off with a pretty nice central plane path for everybody. So everybody was able to spread apart, not have to overlap whatsoever. This one might put a little bit more stress on these teams. It is a little bit far up to the northern side, and we can see that everybody is already jumping, trying to spread out to the best of their abilities. But will there be a hot drop? That's kind of what we're both, I assume, holding our breaths to see what's happening, especially because a lot of people seem to have jumped immediately on this one.
Yeah, we got a couple teams kind of hover around that North George, South George area. And your favorite spot, Gatka. I heard you yesterday talking about it. Looks like God play around there. There's just 3 teams in Gatka. This is already kind of a change of pace from yesterday's game 1. Yesterday's game 1, all teams kind of evenly dispersed on their own little sections of the map. No real potential for early game conflicts. But I got to say, looking at this map, at least from our point of view, that might not be the case.
No, not at all. It also looks like, yeah, here we go. We were worried about this. Looks like Taco Lovers dropped in, has a little bit of a unfriendly neighbor right beside them, completely actually, oh man, outnumbered by a lot. 2 members of Taco Lovers versus 1 member of Godplay, Blinky. Yeah, he's trying to hide by now. So, yeah, it does look like we're going to have a little bit of an early fight. I don't know where the rest of his team is, though. Ooh.
Blinky with
he has
the
a
pub.
shotgun. Yeah.
Yeah, level 1 vest and a dream, I guess. A dream to get this clutch here. Oh, already spotted. Yep, they're just playing with them. Going to be throwing a molly at this door, maybe getting some sightlines there, but pretty much just trying to buy some times before we know what's going to happen. 3 members right now from Taco Lovers, making the push around the corner. Not much you could do. Shotgun,
No.
2 pumps, 3 enemies. Just a tough drop for Blinky right there.
Yeah, and like we said, we don't even know where the rest of his team is, so all of Taco Lovers being able to identify, hey, there's some random person here, we gotta take him out before we make a move on. They were able to clean that up pretty quickly. They didn't even need Goose, so it looks like you're right. They told you they're gonna start aggressive. If they had to take an early fight, they're going to. They already took out their first threat, not too much further. You see Qatar actually going on ahead and looting up crates up on that northern side. We got a glimpse of our first circle. It decided to go ahead and pull a little bit further down to that southeastern side. Still the majority on that mainland, but this means that this location is not inside zone, if I'm not mistaken. So we are going to have to see a lot of these teams who did drop up here. We believe there was 3 of them are going to have to move. Yeah, it looks like Rejects are actually right beside them in South Georgia. I wonder if the 3rd team is up on North George.
Yeah, this is going to be just kind of on the outskirts of that zone you were talking about. And we saw the mini map on the drop. There's around 3 teams in the general area. Here we go. Nice. Ooh,
Yeah.
4 teams. Okay. And right now we're looking at the Rejects who they've been playing together for 1 year. So, you know, that synergy you have to assume is kind of there. Vamp already popping in vehicles saying, we don't want nothing. We don't want any part of this. They're going to be rotating up there towards the north. Smart play, you know, looking ahead, not 1, but 2 steps right now. They don't want to get caught in this pickle over here, which is going to be a couple squads kind of fighting on the same rotations over here.
Oh my goodness, looks like we have another goose. Do we have 2 gooses? 2 geese?
2 gooses.
But
There you
2
go.
gooses. There's one from, yeah, from one from Semper Invicta as well. Okay, we're making a little bit more of a move. It looks like our Severny team is going to be stanza 7. They're also outside zone, so we're going on ahead, seeing who exactly needs to be making a move inside this zone. They, though, are a little bit different than those other 4 teams. Those 4 teams, they're so close to each other that it might be a little bit difficult making their rotations, and they're probably going to be running into each other, at least taking shots, maybe losing 1 or 2 members. But another team a little bit further away, I mean, they might be able to make a big rotation around some sort of zone away from everybody else. They're going to be fine. We do know that the zone was more up to the northern side, though, so any rotation they do make, the north might already be taken, except the end of the plane path was actually more empty compared to the beginning. So if they were to make a rotation over to that eastern side, it might be fine. It looks like Bats and Bope squad are over here.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. Definitely our squad up there in Severny, they have a lot more time to kind of just get all their loot, check all the buildings, and pretty much check off everything on that shopping list. Over here, though, Okay, we're setting up some more looting. Early game. You know, we're only 5 minutes into this game.
Yeah.
I gotta say, Cheese, they delivered. Tacos, they delivered, all right? Early game, we were talking about it. They were gonna get some kills. They got 1 kill. Okay, they got the first blood of the game, so Cheese living up to that. I did see, yeah, Vamp. Ooh, this was Vamp. Remember, they pushed out early, and now they're kind of reaping the rewards here from their early push out of North George.
Were they able to pick up 2? I think so. Vamp, defeat 2, yeah. Take a look at that. Oh, look at their little logo in the top left corner. If we can spectate them again, he's just peeking at us. But yeah, 2 members of Semper Invicta down now. Looks like it's just down to Goose and Scorpio. That is not a good start. We knew that they were going to have a little bit of trouble making rotation out of there, yeah. Oh, they're pushing.
Yeah, I don't know. Okay, maybe getting some loot. So Vamp, the loot goblins out here. They had such a strong position up there on those hills, but they did leave some squad mates still on that hill to kind of play that overlook, while Solo is going to be over here making sure to fill those coffers. And this was that play that we saw. We caught a glimpse of Vamp pushing out of that North George area. Vamp, they were all the way to the west, so they had the disadvantage if they just sent it through Georgia Pool. Instead, they got a little bit of loot and repositioned in this gatekeeping spot. Already 2 points on the board. Now some loot. Talk about loot delivery service right there. It's working out for Vamp.
I mean, that was great awareness from them, realizing, hey, we have neighbors, we can't drive that way, but we do have the opportunity to hold them out. There was a little bit of a, I don't know what to call it, peninsula is the wrong word, but, you know, they either had to go towards Vamp or take that bridge down to Sort George, which I wouldn't think that that team would have wanted to take. So that was great of them to be able to go up far to the northern side and grab that holdout position, because this is a game of, you know, finding the best advantageous position and taking advantage of it, finding an opportunity against all of your enemies around you, and they did that perfectly, picking up 2 right off the bat. Honestly, they could potentially have been more aggressive onto those other 2, you know, a 4v2, easily clean upable, but since they didn't know exactly where the other 2 were, they weren't going to do that. Well, they want to continue to play this safe because we are only 8 minutes inside the game now, so they're just going to wait it out, see if they're going to show themselves, and I wouldn't be surprised if they don't show themselves soon enough. They're just going to continue on with their rotation again inside this first zone. Much like, as you can see, actually, as we're flying around here, a lot of these guys are finally in their vehicles and starting to make a move.
The Chosen out here, a little split up. I see Man Go out there in the distance, kind of still getting that loot, while their other squad mates, the other 3, are taking some shots out here onto Stanza 7. Hopefully they'll be able to group up here shortly. Stanza 7 don't seem to have a care in the world, though. They received a couple gunfire shots, and they're just going to keep going along, chugging along their way. AZ, the IGL, another player with some previous experience and competitive. Same thing with Landland. So they got a little synergy going here right now. That might be why they are so split for the time being. Ooh, but we might have a pull-up.
Oh.
Reject pulling up for Godplay.
Wow, okay. Unfortunately for Reject's psyche, he's going to go down instantly. Looks like Akali going to be by themselves underneath the first floor of that wizard tower for now. All 3 members of Godplay making that push. I wouldn't be surprised if they go for the flush, but they know exactly where Akali is. Can't exactly push out onto him just yet because the rest of Rejects are far behind. At this point, I feel like you would have to make some sort of a push if you're hoping to save your teammate in this kind of a situation. But here we go. Cypher making the push, but it looks like Suzuki upstairs is going to actually be able to spot out Akali, and that means Rejects are just down to 2 left. Godplay, they just got to sit inside their compound while this happened. It did look like they lost Blinky, but that was pretty early on. But as a 3-man, they're still able to pick up these kills against Rejects.
Mistakes definitely have been made here, and that right there, I know we kind of we popped over on the tail end, so I can't discount this was intentional, but they got one of their players knocked out on the approach. Then Akali, that was questionable. They were behind the wizard tower. They threw some smokes. I think it's a matter of just waiting to see what your teammates can do in the form of providing that support so you can evacuate the situation, the danger. But instead, Akali popped in the Dacia and drove towards the danger. Not exactly sure there, and it is what it is. Godplay, though, 1 point on the board. Are they gonna push out, try to get the confirm? Looks like they're posturing, setting some buggies, possibly baiting it. As they do have the hard cover though, and it's been working out pretty well so far for them. And they're just kind of waiting. They're waiting to see what the rejects do next.
Yeah, Suzuki, he ended up driving up to the northern side with that buggy. I think he was trying to spot out Psyche as he was crawling back, but as you can see there, he's now healed up 75 HP, slowly healing a little bit more. He was able to crawl all the way back to his team and get res, so they're back to 3 up, only losing 1 with that fight. That Wizard Tower just making it impossible to move anywhere else that would have been safe, so it looks like that's going to be put into a little bit of a hold. You know, now they know they're aware that they have unfriendly neighbors. I don't know if that's the best position for either of those teams to play in though, so maybe they'll start focusing on getting a little bit further inside zone, just like these couple teams are. We see BT in the distance, and to 7 kind of hiding out along this road. This is a strong road to play. Originally, I feel like this road was really only used for rotations, but it's now really used as a place to play out right beside him, Pakistani Rising Stars. Wow, there's a lot of teams around in this area. It seems just waiting to catch somebody out in this situation. Another team going up towards Potato Hill. It's just a matter of who's going to spot who first, I guess.
Exactly. And you know what? I wouldn't be surprised. Yep. They already spotted. Everybody's spotting each other. They're using this TPP to peek, look through those windows without exposing themselves and getting their heads knocked off. So they're all gathering intel. Oh, Emmy trying to go for that spray down. M4. Pakistani Rising Stars. Just let them know, hey, we know you're here. Do not peek out. If you peek out, you're done, son. You're done. So that might allow Pakistani Rising Stars, some of their squad mates to actually reposition and get the upper hand right there, just keeping them pinned down. Got a lot of teams in Potato Hill or around Potato Hill. And fortunate for Rejects, Godplay pulled off. Godplay, they were already in their vehicles preparing for this next zone. Rejects all the way out there on the west side. So they're able to kind of catch their breath. But this zone, Span Cargo, this zone, my goodness. Wow, we're going to lose some squads here.
Definitely kill zone it is. It looks like it decided to center around, I gotta say, maybe the majority of these teams that we were taking a look at earlier, but everybody else that wasn't inside now making the move. We can see them slowly drive it on in. Godplay, they did have a little bit of a head start, at least onto one of the teams that we saw them fighting with earlier, but there's a ton of teams in front of them, one of them being self-made right on the edge by this compound. It looks like they're going to actually continue to play there for a while. Some hard cover waiting for the next zone to pop. They know that they aren't in the best spots from this zone, but they probably figure at this point, it seems like the rest of this is already pretty filled up, which is kind of surprising. This is only phase 2, but all 15 teams are still alive.
Oh, might get a rematch. Godplay might be able to take some shots on Rejects on their rotation. I do appreciate how Godplay, they're doing a lot of scouting. They're not just straight up sending it. They went to that compound. They recognize, okay, there's a couple teams in front of us, and they're trying to come up with some type of game plan on how to safely get into this next zone. I do appreciate it because a lot of teams, they just YOLO send it. And talking about YOLO sending it, it's working out right now. But Rejects, they were all the way on the edge of the blue in the west. They got into their vehicles and just nonstop, pedal to the metal. Let's see if it works.
Yeah, we're gonna see a bunch of other teams now continue to make their rotations. This zone much smaller. Looks like they didn't like their positioning. Now making a little bit of a move. Looks like they're going towards Team Chosen. And wait, are they gonna actually full-on drive into a different team? Cuban Huya actually taking some shots towards them, but Man Go getting the knock onto one. It looks like Ben going down. A couple of these other teammates are just driving around at this point. I don't know if they're gonna be able to get the res on their teammate. They kind of scattered. I think No Ban is out of this game. Yeah, Landland. Oh, I thought he was going for the run over. It looks like they'll spare him from that.
Yeah. No ban, might not be getting the ban, but definitely getting taken out of game number 1 as their squad mates, Lewis, no hacks, they're in the Dacia. They're looking to find a safer way into the zone. Looks like they should be able to out there towards the north and check it back in with the Chosen. They're going to be pushing uphill. No, not too far. No, right on the other side of that hill. That might be a huge fight, but getting a nice little aerial view of Godplay, who we saw a couple moments ago doing some scouting. they're going to be playing it ultra safe here, rotating through the blue.
Yeah, and the next zone up towards that northeastern side once again. We can see that that one team that's been up on top of that path for this entire game so far still getting the zone to themselves. Vamp making a huge rotation around. They're going to be able to take those Moonrocks over to the eastern side. They're going to be quite happy about that. The only team with a really good compound, I got to say at this point, is OP. They're in that new compound just on the southern side of that northern road. And everybody else, the only bad thing about that compound, I got to say, is that it is kind of in a little bit of a bowl. Everybody else is going to be on the hill above them, but it will be the only good hard cover inside of the zone that if they're able to get out of there later on, it might be perfect for them to stay as 4 up, maybe get involved in a ton of fights around them. But this zone, much too small for 15 teams, and I think that's why we're going to start seeing some fights happening here. The Chosen already spotting out a team to their northern side, and actually Null now trying to hold them out. There we go, starting off with the first shot towards that buggy. Of course, they can't get the knock just yet. And it looks like actually AZ going to be able to get away from that situation, leaving his team behind, though, as they're all just sending it through. They're trying to prioritize getting inside this zone, but Null does not want it to happen. But it looks like, unfortunately, they just can't get the knock in this situation just yet.
Wow, I mean, talk about the plays right there. They received some shots. They pretty much went through the tunnel between Null. Fortunate for them, they survived as they did make that boulder. One was knocked in almost as quick as that action's occurring. Stands a 7 out here, taking the fight. Grave trying to pull up with the buggy, able to get there just in time. Might want to pop the smoke, get the pickups on their squad mates, but stands a 7. This shack, this Death Shack, they're getting picked apart from multiple angles.
That shack is breakable. We can see it's only wood around them. We can hear shots now in the distance. Everybody just trying to play on the very far edge. We can see Team B-Town now getting a little bit of a rest before they start continuing their fight. That Vodao just to the southern side. It looks like we have that team. It actually stands a 7, pinched between 2 other teams.
Oh.
B-Town or
Drake.
that could get in a fight. Wait a second. And even up to the northern side, even more fights happening.
Seriously, fights are everywhere, and it's because the zone is so small, so many teams still alive, and 2 hardships in a row. Grave, B-Town trying to heal up, trying to get the reset, the heals going. Bat still 4 up. Hear them snipes out there. Grave doing a little TPP action, trying to scout out ahead. We'll recognize, okay, there's some enemies down there towards the hill. I don't think Bat needs to push over the hill anytime soon. They got a nice spot, but man, the chat, they've been calling for it. Team OP, look at them chilling in that compound right now. All eyes are on them. I'm curious if they can rack up a lot of kills from their hard cover because they have the potential to third party a lot of teams right now making their way down this hill.
I hope they can. I said they're kind of in a little bit of a bull, but they should be able to run out, potentially get involved in all these fights. I do think that a lot of these other teams have these hills to kind of give themselves some cover, but if they continue on with these fighting up to the northern side, I do think OP could take advantage of it. Down to their southern side, I don't think they could really spot anything out, so all their kills would be coming from this northwestern side. I'm sure they have multiple eyes over here, but they can't quite spot them out. Too much smoke, a little bit too many ridges. Even Team Chosen, it looks like they're kind of having to deal with God play. One last person left, Cypher, directly above them for the rest of their team. We're going to be able to see if he's going to be able to survive longer, but even this next zone shift is pulling the furthest away from Cypher again as well. Not looking good, but that means OP does in fact have to leave their compound. It's just a question of, are they going to try to wipe out everybody up to their north so that they don't have to worry about them first before moving into zone?
Yeah, real curious to see what Team OP, what they decide to do. They do have all 4 members up. The number advantage so strong. And talk about having that numbers advantage. Well, Shark using this little smoke tunnel to get up close and personal with Taco Lovers. We hear the spray from Shark, the Tommy gun. It is a Wednesday with that UMP trying to defend their compound right now. And it is just not working out because they're still pushing. Oh man, they need to watch out for this grenade. Wednesday trying to back off, trying to use this ridge for cover. Mistakes have been made in the front lines though. Sheep and Cheese, both squad mates trying to throw out all their utility, and it's working. It's blowing these vehicles back right here, and it's putting a stop to this push. Let's see what they can do. Wednesday
Oh, I was
pulling out
thinking maybe
early?
they
I don't
made
know about
bans.
that. I don't know about Wednesday pulling out early right there. I don't know. But Cheese now forced to defend the second story. And here comes the blue zone to apply some additional pressure. Kurt in the first story, making their way around. Sheep with the spray down. We hear the shots. We see the health. Oh, Cheese able to get the final blow, but Sheep was knocked out and in the blue. I don't think that revive is going to be possible.
And Shark Fin, both of them from Self-Made, directly inside zone from them. I don't know if Taco Lovers are going to be able to make it in any further. They have two teams. Semper Invicta also directly in front of them on the edge of this zone, kind of holding them out. Both Shark and Fin now taking some shots towards Goose. And this zone just so much smaller and smaller. That same one team, though, still in the center of the zone on top of that hill. I mean, they do have the opportunity here to really make something big happen. Unfortunately for the Chosen, it looks like they're going to go out, but we just have 10 teams left. I want to see how much longer Taco Lovers can survive, so you can see them far inside of that blue zone at this point. So much fighting happening on the western side as well. We see OP actually popping off in that kill feed as well. Vamp goes down to 9 are left. Who's going to get that top amount of placement points, though, as this game continues, and this next zone is about to pop once again.
Yeah, these zones just have not been friendly to the majority of these teams, just constantly having to chase it down every single time. Bat still with 3 at least right there on the edge. They got 2-1 split for the time being. They're trying to flex out. Ooh, they got 4 up actually. They're trying to get this grenade on the Drake here from B-Town solo. Trying to avoid these grenades. This bush is not going to save them if it connects, but we keep hearing those shots, and we just had 10 teams. Well, there goes Taco Lovers. Cheese was able to get 1 kill out of that fight, so we'll have 3 more games to go. But 7 teams left. 22 minutes, 7 teams to go. Let's see who will come out on top.
Yeah, it looks like Null unfortunately is going to fall as well. I mean, I do think Rising Stars might be able to do something here. They've had that center zone this entire time. It kind of looks like they're a little bit more spread out there in the middle. Actually, one of them falling to Team OP. It looks like OP has now come from the northern side trying to get involved, but got to be careful because this is such an open area that we can even see Bad Bodow from afar, taking a lot of shots. Goose could be taking out the last member there from Self-Made as well, trying to get inside zone here too. And Rising Star versus Bope Esports. It doesn't look good. I think maybe only one of them is left fighting Bope, while another is fighting an entirely different team.
Ooh, Mafia trying to land these shots with the M4 swap, but on over to the Tommy gun, but traded on. This Wizard Tower. Oh man, shots are just getting taken all left and right. Pakistani Rising Stars were taken out from the hands of Team Bope. Meanwhile, during all the chaos down here towards the south, Team OP, they've been setting up a camp. They've been setting up these angles. They got 2 solos on the edges, making sure they don't get wrapped around on the blue. And then they got that duo. They got Bob right there in the middle in that smokes. I mean, we're looking at the minimap. They're controlling a lot of terrain right now.
They basically are in control of this entire northern side of the map, a little bit of the east as well. Looks like they spotted out that as well, taking some shots. It actually looks like an entirely different team. Semper Invicta getting involved, getting a knock into one of them, but I wonder if OP, because of that, will start getting involved a little bit more. They know that knocks are happening. Looks like a flush onto one of the bat members is going to be happening as well. Yep, there we go. Slowly being taken out. Semper Invicta continue to make the push. We're down to 5 teams left, so honestly, after this next fight, the next one's going to be the last one. I'm pretty surprised if OP decide to actually push on that one right when they hear those shots start firing, because third-partying it is honestly one of the best situations you could find yourself into. Bet Bodow, I'm a little bit concerned for them. They're still on the very side of that ridge. It looks like Semper Invicta going to get another knock onto them. They have to get rid of Semper Invicta if they actually want to play this road, it looks like, especially as the zone closes once again. They still have that center zone, but they're just getting naded, utiled to absolute insanity.
Exactly. And there goes Scorpio. It's up to Goose. Goose already with the deuce. Probably won't have the time to get the pickup on their squad mate once again. Just trying to stay low to the ground. Might even take off their backpack here very shortly. Scorpio does actually make it to Goose. So if this revive happens, well, it's a revive of a lifetime. The second time
Wow.
Goose has gotten Scorpio up in the situation, and they had this little tiny ledge to work with to kind of block those sight lines. Both using this moment of opportunity to try to heal up, reset as well. Here comes the blue zone, but look at that. On the opposite end, Baba with the grenades, starting to toss out the utility. Oh, from behind though! Goose and Scorpio, third party in.
Nice. Gotta get as many kills as you can. It looks like Goose now spotting out Bat once again. They know they have to make a move up to the northern side. The blue zone slowly closing on in. They can't play to the southern side anymore, but this is the perfect opportunity for OP to move. This is the last fight. 2 teams left as Bat Voodoo is out, and there goes Semper Invicta as well. Wow, OP, they played that honestly flawlessly. All 4 of their members alive all the way to the very end, just slowly moving up from the northern side on top of that hill. Like, they were not impatient whatsoever. They moved exactly when they needed to.
Methodical. That's what I saw right there. They had the duo in the middle looking ahead, and then they had their 2 individual solos looking on the left and the right, making sure they don't get flanked. That was just textbook beautiful right there from Team OP. And then at the end, of course, that one grenade, woo, right inside that wooden shack to get the GG, the winner chicken dinner. Like, that's a movie right there. That's a movie right there. But big shout out, though, you got to say, Goose and Scorpio down there towards the south, they were putting in so much damage. They were doing so much work on those 2 squads. They just couldn't smash them. They couldn't take them out. And we saw there at the end, they played such a big role, I want to say, in kind of making it a little easier for Team OP to get that winner towards the end.
I mean, Bat Voda, they had arguably the best position inside that zone. I feel like they had that road and that ridge that would have protected them from OP up to the northern side, but they could not get rid of the team behind them. They could not get rid of Semper. So because of that, yeah, they did put in so much work to get rid of them. Let's actually take a look at how many points they're able to pick up with the match standings from our first game. And yeah, Team OP, 15 placement points from that chicken dinner, 12 kill points, Dave, for a total of 27. The next team that has the most amount of kills is in fact Semper Invicta with 6. That is 6 more kills Team OP was able to pick up from their positioning.
All I know is chat has to be going wild. They wanted Team OP all day yesterday. Team OP showing up here today. The first game, 12 kills. They had a really strong compound towards the mid game, and then we saw that one circle shift just a little south of that compound. And I remember you bringing it up, like, we're curious, how are they going to push out? What's the play here? And, well, we saw it. We saw the play set up towards the end there. 12 kills. And the chicken, Team OP, hopefully with this game 1, they can continue on with this momentum and just keep steamrolling here.
Starting to give Godson a little bit of a sweat happening here, where maybe they'll be able to meet that 61 points. But let's go on ahead and take a look at the other side of the leaderboard as well. It's these teams that we now have to keep an eye on going into our last 3 games of today, because these guys only picking up 3-2 in one team, Stand 7 only picking up 0 points. Like, they have to go on ahead and really turn this around, because, I mean, you and I, we were talking last night how all these teams can really only have 2 bad games. I believe it was Jukes argued only 1, really. So Self-Made, Null, Chosen, Godplay, Qatar, Reject, Stanza 7, they really have to go on ahead and feel something inside of themselves to really do well on Sanhok, Miramar, and our last Erangel.
It's real interesting, too, because Rejects, Godplay, Stanza 7, we were watching them a lot that game. Like, if we had to think about which teams we were spectating a lot, always in the action, or rotating because of the zones, it was those 3 teams. And I'm going to chalk it up to they just didn't get any luck. No luck with the zones. It just did not go in their favor at all. And they just had to risk it. They had to risk just sending it on those very risky, challenging rotations. And every single zone pop, they would lose 1 here, lose 1 there. And we see how that plays a role on the overall leaderboard. So, ladies and gentlemen, that was game number 1. 3 more games to go. Sanhok coming up next. Can Team OP get another winner chicken dinner? Well, we'll find out right after the break.
The OnePlus 9 Pro.
The OnePlus 9 Pro. Oh my god, this phone feels incredible. The best processor, 120 hertz, 12 gigs of RAM, and a Hasselblad camera. What more could you want?
The hyper touch on this bad boy is phenomenal.
The best model of OnePlus phone I have used to date. the OnePlus 9 Pro.
The OnePlus 9 Pro. Oh my god, this phone feels incredible. The best processor, 120 hertz, 12 gigs of RAM, and a Hasselblad camera. What more could you want?
The hyper touch on this bad boy is phenomenal.
The best model of OnePlus phone I have used to date.
Hello everyone, we are back for PUBG Mobile Club Open North America Day 2, Groups C versus D. We're about to go into Game 2 on Sanhok, but just Game 1, Team OP. I'm Spin Cargo, this is Dave, but Team OP, they got 27 points. That is almost halfway to the place that we're kind of wondering, will they be able to make it to 61 points? They're almost halfway there already, just after Game 1, Dave.
Easy for OP. Easy for OP. Right now in the chat. Easy OP. Can they do it? Well, Godsent watching from the sidelines. Maybe taking some notes right now because that game was just textbook. You could tell their communication is on point. Their gun skills are on point. No wonder the YouTube chat was going crazy last night for this squad. Now, on the flip end of that one, Taco Lovers. Where you at, man? Where you at, Taco Lovers? Big Cheese, what's going on? It was a challenging push. That they got pushed on by, it was self-made. But one thing that really stood out to me is they had 3. Wednesday kind of pulled the eject button, went to reposition versus, hunkering down in that compound. So I think the zone definitely applying some pressure to that team in particular. But I think it's the same story for a lot of teams, right? We saw a lot of teams in the blue not really knowing how to handle that, at least in Game 1. And I'm bringing this up because Game 2 is going to be Sanhok. And if there's one map that the blue zone really applies that pressure and really throws that wrench into your plan, well, it's Sanhok. So hopefully they can tighten up and not be too scared, all right, of Papa Blue.
I don't disagree. I mean, fighting inside blue zone, just taking fights in general, you know, you have to decide, okay, we have to get rid of these people around us to find ourselves a spot inside of this next zone. There's nothing else we can do. We can't let this blue zone get on top of us and really start doing damage to our health, taking away our meds, our util, everything. They really have to go ahead and focus, try and get inside zone. And you're right, Sanhok is that one game, that one map that I really feel like you have to constantly be thinking we cannot get stuck in blue. We can't. We have to keep fighting in front of us. There's definitely going to be at least 1 or 2 teams in front of you closer to zone than you are. So every single team has to be ready for that fight to get inside of that zone.
And if you are in the blue, hey, you better time those heals. Send all your meds to that one person. You never know. We've seen in the past just having that one squad mate on your team to just heal. You can literally, and I've seen it, you can go from 10th place, which is 1 point, 4th place in points. I've seen it go all the way to like 2nd or 3rd place, which is 12 and 10 points. So if you got enough meds, you know the timing, especially Sanhok late game, you could make some jumps on the leaderboard when it comes to placement points. So that's always the backup to the backup plan, in my opinion, that we've seen some squads truly take advantage of here on Sanhok. Will we see it here in PMCO? Well, that's up for debate. We're going to be finding out here very shortly, though. I believe the players loading up. It's the planes, getting their seatbelts on, getting them parachutes strapped, getting that team talk going, keeping up that morale as well, right? Game 1, You didn't do too hot. Forget about it. You got to be like a goldfish. You got to forget about game one. I think analyze the games after the day. Don't analyze the games in between the games, if that makes sense. I mean, you were in IGL before, so what's your take on that?
I do. That's exactly what I believe in. In between games is kind of, it's not the point where you have to discuss, okay, this is definitely like what we should have done better. It's not like the arguing discussion point at all. It really is after all of the games, after the full day, when you sit down, start getting that VOD review in. It's kind of just like afterwards you'd be like, okay, we kind of messed up there. Maybe we got to work on getting inside this next zone a little bit easier, but let's go. Second game, here we come. We can do this. We still have 3 games ahead of us. You still have to keep that positive mentality, because right when you start dipping towards that negative, it's definitely going to impact your performance. Like, you're going to do worse. Like that, it's just true. So everybody kind of has to forget about it and just continue looking forward into the next game, because at that point you can't do anything about it to fix it. So you got to focus on the VOD review for afterwards.
Forget about it. And that's something that a lot of the top tier teams, I asked that question to them. That's exactly what they try to do, right? If bad performance, don't stress. Do not stress about it right now. Maybe later on, after the day's done, all the games are played, then maybe, stress about it, hopefully not point the finger and point to the blame. Well, that's when you can really dive deep, be a little analytical, and figure out like where it went all wrong. Right now, just keep playing your game. Play that game that got you here in the first place, because remember, all these squads, they needed to qualify for this in the first place. So they had what it takes to make it here to the PMCO. Now they're just trying to see if they have what it takes to make it to PMPL. 3 more games to go. We got about 2 minutes to go. Team OP, if I had the Team OP counter right now in the YouTube chat, we are already maxed out like 100. So
Yeah,
if they get another chicken dinner, let's just send them the invite. All right, already. Let's just send them the invite, because if I was in charge, I would. All right, I don't know if we'll really send the invite, but if I was in charge, I would. Team OP though, Sanhok. It's going to be a map that's truly going to test what I was complimenting them earlier on, their communication, their synergy, their gunfire that they showed in game 1. So Sanhok is a real test to that.
And on them picking up 12 kills last game in that chicken, I mean, Sanhok, I'm kind of looking forward to. I already said it. They have 27 points already. Like, almost just 3 points shy of 30. Like, this second game, they could go on ahead and get really close to that 60 points already. It's just in 2 games, it could just be a couple points away from where Godsent is. So that's what I'm personally going to be looking forward to in this game, seeing if they're going to be able to do that just from half of the games that Godsent played, and it looks like we're going to be coming up on that very shortly. Everybody finally get inside that plane. Looks like we're about to drop.
And you know how Team OP do it? Well, they're doing it with the flagship performance and the immersive 120 Hz display and new technology like the HyperTouch built in to the OnePlus 9 and 9 Pro. That's their chance. That's their shot to climb up these leaderboards. So big shout out to the sponsor out here, OnePlus 9 Pro. Got to get it. Ladies and gentlemen, talking about getting some more things. Well, we're going to get game number 2, Sanhok, underway. Group C, Group D. Let's see what they're made out of.
And it looks like, again, starting off our plane pass, starting actually on the southern side this time, going up towards the north. They're going on the screen, that OnePlus 9 Pro, much better phone than whatever I have. But there we go. It's going up to the northern side. Looks like on this one we finally have that center plane path that we were talking about that last game that didn't happen. This one nice and easy down the center. Everybody should be able to spread out on Sanhok since it is only a 4x4 map, much tinier. Everybody should be able to spread out across the entire thing, and that means we might not see an early fight like we saw last game. But obviously that is up to these teams. If 2 teams like the same drop spot, they're going to be dropping on top of each other. We might see some early action once more, but already look at all those colors just flying across this map. It looks like they're doing well so far in staying completely away from each other, but eventually they're gonna have to make their way up a little bit towards the north, because look at our first circle.
A little more evenly dispersed, right? At least compared to game number one. It's looking like a beautiful work of art right now with all the different colors on the screen on this map. But circle number one, okay, for the most part, I would give it 85% of the teams are in there. So those teams down there towards the south, we will have the taco lovers. We got Vamp with a very, very interesting split. I see one of their squad mates might be squaring off with Goose down there in Camp Charlie, so we'll have to pay attention to that. Not only that, like Cheese, look at Cheese. Cheese is, oh man, Cheese is between possibly two different teams, self-made. So taco lovers are going to need to be on their P's and Q's to Sanhok map to make sure not to lose one squad mate from just making simple mistakes, and that's just not staying grouped up here on Sanhok.
I'm actually a little surprised to see two teams on the southern side be that split apart. I mean, it's a little bit concerning. Maybe the only thing that could be helping them out here is that the zone is up to the northern side. Like, nobody is going to be wanting to rotate towards them, potentially, unless they figure out, hey, there's only a solo down here. I mean, Team Bope Esports may want to make a little bit of a rotation around. We can see him in the distance there. Cheese right in front of him across the road. Looks like he has guns away, like absolutely booking it towards his teammates, though. I wonder if he realizes I'm in danger. He's trying to get over towards Sheep there.
You know, they're missing, they got Wednesday, but they're missing Tuesday. Everybody knows Taco Tuesday. That's the thing. All right, Taco.
That's true.
Maybe they're trying to change it up. Taco Wednesday. Okay, you know, the ring doesn't necessarily. Doesn't flow, though. Gotta be different. Hey, their logo, though, cute. I'm going to say their taco, cute. I rated it a 10 out of 10. Looking over here, though, no, that's a team that I said we gotta keep our eyes on. 8th place today from game one. They got 1 placement point and only 2 kills. So what can they do here? What can they do here? Because I was gassing up. I was saying this team, they got a member from Syndicate. They got a member from HQA. Like, they got experience. And I'm very curious to see what they can do. Now, the team, they've only been playing together as a 4-person roster for 1 to 2 months. So I'm going to say, okay, everybody has experience. They're confident in their skills. But maybe their limited time playing together, maybe that's kind of what we're seeing kind of take effect here in their gameplay. Just that trust, you know, that communication among each other.
Yeah, that small amount of synergy that you can only really get from playing with each other for a long amount of time. I mean, everybody obviously has that game sense. They have the mechanics for themselves, but that little bit of teamwork, that small amount of synergy you can only get from experience with each other. Maybe they're lacking that. So, I mean, these games is going to be that perfect opportunity to really start testing it out and really start improving on those aspects. So, I mean, perfect opportunity, but obviously that also means they have to continue to do well with that potential limitation to get into the next stage of this event. So we will have to see if they're going to be able to overcome it and learn from it pretty quickly, I gotta say.
Yeah, we'll see. We're truly watching them develop in front of our very own eyes here during this PMCO, and just getting a nice little aerial view. We saw a couple months ago the Baba Cam out there, Team OP slaying game one. Checking in with Stanza 7. We saw a lot of movement from them. Game one, a lot of rotations, but they're going to be down there towards the bottom, so they're really looking to make that comeback here. This Sanhok map, get a couple kills underneath their belt, maybe some additional placement points. But Team OP already about 5 minutes into the game. Okay, when it comes to loot, level 2 helmet, level 2 vest. We got the mutant as well. Nice cachet of meds, not too bad. So they're going to be setting up camp out there on the edge, just playing this one nice and slow and steady, making sure to check their surroundings, making sure not to allow any of their squad mates to get taken out for free. And that's what you love to see.
I mean, especially just on the first zone of Sanhok, you have no idea where this zone is really going to be ending. So as long as you're inside zone and you have a nice place, a provide some hard cover. Maybe you're looting on up still. Like, as long as you're safe and nobody's around you, that's perfect. Because you just have to wait until that next zone shift happens, because otherwise there really is no predicting on where this next zone is going to go. So just be safe is the best opportunity. But it does look like Team Bope Esports. It looks like, ooh, Jero getting a little bit too close to self-made. I think he realized, instantly laying down and trying to run away now. Did self-made hear him, though? They look a little bit cautious, potentially.
I don't think so. I'm looking at the mini-map. They're not looking in this direction. So, Jero, talk about just, being aware. Definitely getting spooked there towards the end, and for good cause, because they're running right towards these compounds trying to get some additional loot. There's 4 enemies in there, so you have to assume they would have been an easy point if they would have ran into that trap. But talk about 1v4, it doesn't get any easier. But talking about traps though, Stanza already prone in some bushes. Now that buggy will be most likely giving away their position, but it also does provide some cover from that angle over there, as Storm Gaming didn't really see them game 1, and that's because they got no placement points and no kills. So Storm Gaming looking to make a change here on this Sanhok game.
Yeah, I mean, for right now, it looks like they're okay. They have one of those center compounds for right now. They have the hard cover. Gotta say that compound may be a little bit difficult to get out of, but we'll have to keep an eye on that. I mean, we already said that as long as they have a place to play out of, a call home for right now, they're going to be okay until that next zone shift. I mean, maybe Stanza, though, depending on if the zone shifts up towards the northern side, they might end up running into each other. So it's a little bit of a scary thing that could potentially happen, but it doesn't really look like anybody's moving at this point. Like, everybody really does have a home, except we saw one person in the kill feed. Looks like Noel ended up getting a knock and a kill somewhere on this map, but everybody else is still pretty passive.
Pretty passive, and we're actually checking in with one of the teams that are on the hunt, on the move. The Chosen. This squad's been playing together for 1 year. I was talking to AZ. They told me the team is really aggressive. They like to get dirty, and they're strong. I asked them, what's the squad's strong suit? They said, Dave, it has to be close quarter combat. So we're talking Sanhok. Well, there's opportunity for just that. You're going to get up close and personal. You can walk over a hill. Next thing you know, there's a whole team. And that's what we're seeing right here. Rejects on the high ground. I'm surprised nobody's looking down here, as Bope, they're just moving up here.
Yeah, the big push is happening. Looks like Meme really close by, but Rejects, they have the perfect opportunity for an ambush. The man up inside of the balcony. Yeah, there we go. Perfect spotting out. Instantly strikes, takes one down. Looks like Rejects are absolutely bopping this out for right now. 3 are down. It's just 1 left. Only 1 number of Rejects went down, and they're all pushing because they know that there's only 1 left. It's Jero. Super low at that rock though, and all Rejects are pushing. Here comes the shotgun. But he actually gets one back.
Still alive, running around the boulder, 1 HP, but you know what? Jero did take out the man, the IGL for the squad. I gotta give it to the Rejects, though. I loved that play. Iris, passive, trigger discipline, waiting for a couple of the enemy players to run across their sight lines. Line of sight right there. And then when the man said 1, 2, 3, both of them, Iris and the man, just started firing down right there. And the classic ambush, and that's hard. That's hard to do here, especially on Sanhok, and make it look so good. Unfortunate, the man did get taken out right there, but that's 4 points on their side. I'll take it all day. Get 4 points, lose
4 points
one.
with 3 stops.
That's a win.
Yeah, that meets my requirements of success. So I always say, like, if you get in an early fight at all, if you're able to take away 4 kills with 4 or 3 still up, that's success in my book. Because with 3 up, you can still mostly play normal. you only lost 1. Obviously, you're a little bit of a limitation, but right when your number goes down to 2 or 1, then your gameplay is completely different. You have to play the game entirely different than if you had 4 or 3 members. So they met the mark of success on that early fight, I have to say, keeping 3 up with those 4 kills.
And it's only amplified on Sanhok because 4 kills, that's equivalent to a 6th place finish, which is difficult in its own right. So honestly, it's only up from here. They already got 4 points on the board. That's equivalent to a 6th place when we still have 15 teams alive. So a lot of teams are going to be getting the goose egg here, the 0 points. And we're watching this squad game 1. Pretty solid, but talking about ambushes, Qatar setting up one themselves.
We knew that Semper Invicto was looking down at this compound for a while, but Qatar, they were doing so well at keeping hidden that they just sent it on in. Instantly last 2. It's just down to 2 members left. Goose, oh, wait a second. Maybe not even. Did Scorpio just go down as well? Oh, no, it's still 2 up. Already getting that res onto one of them, so they're about to have 3. And, I mean, Qatar, they got the 1 kill in the knock. They don't have to push out whatsoever. They still have that hard cover. It's still Semper Invicto that has to make the move. Well, Qatar, they want to get the rest of these kills. A little bit of at a height disadvantage, though, being down below. But they're safe for now. And actually, wait a second. It looks like the fighting all around the map has really popped off. BT making a push towards Bat.
There, see one of the squad mates from Bat on their knees, bleeding on out. Trying to just avoid the sight lines and stay alive to get the pickup. Drake looking to get a grenade through that window. Ooh, that broken wall saving Drake's life right there. B-Town Grave also trying to connect these grenades as one of the squad mates from Bat was able to vault that window with just a smidge of health left to go. And BT, they're actually going to be getting third party from behind. So there is a squad out there in the distance looking to possibly capitalize on this engagement.
B-Town not looking too good here. I mean, it's 1 down, literally seriously only 1 left. It is just on the edge of that zone as well. It looks like that Vodao maybe a little bit itching, starting to make a little bit of a move, rotation on out. I like what High FC is doing here, actually trying to spot out Grave. They all know they have the advantage of the big push is happening. Gotta go ahead and wait for the teammates as well. Make sure that they're not going to be taken down by that solo. But it looks like, okay, they're going to go on ahead with the side of caution, though. They don't want to go on ahead and push out there into the unknown and have Grave pop up on them, especially with the fight happening just above them on that ridge.
And you hate to see it. B-Town, they were the aggressors in this situation. They were the ones looking to take the fight, and now they're down to just Grave, just behind that boulder. Trying to buy some time, trying to survive. 15 squads still alive. If Grave gets taken out right now, 0 points. And you have to assume all this commotion definitely going to be alerting squads in the radius. We already see rejects out there in the distance, possibly looking to head towards this direction. So we'll have to pay attention to the kill feed as we're checking on over here. Self-made, looking to make some plays. You got to watch out, though. I see, yeah, this is what I'm looking at here.
Yeah.
Irish Scorpio. That buggy's going to be giving away the position, though.
Playing on the very edge of this really steep hill as well, as it's difficult in itself. It does look like B-Town Grave has finally been found out. That eliminated 14 teams are left, and it looks like everybody on the very edge of this zone up on top of these hills are really starting to take a beating. Self-made being able to get another knock onto Semper Invicta here. Another whole different team getting a knock back on a Self-made, camping that bridge. All these guys now on this western side really taking a beating, I gotta say. Even to the north, it's Taco Lovers. We haven't seen them really get involved just yet, as, I mean, I don't think at least 2 of these teams are going to be wiped out right here, as a lot of the holds are coming through right in this one spot. Oh, beautiful nade as well, actually stopping that res from happening.
Oh, from Irish. So looks like the sacrifice was made. Scorpio was taken out, but Irish, trying to get some trades themselves, was able to get one confirm. Forced Shark to pull off that revive. Shark looking to get the revenge play here with the suppressed UMP. Irish has to hear these footsteps. Was able to get right behind that boulder in time. But here comes the blue zone. Shark strafing back and forth. Oh, just cannot catch Irish. Irish swapping to the double barrel shotgun. Now has the high ground. Barely no health. Yeah, took one shot. But Shark with the UMP to the face. Now it's going to be up to Goose to continue to survive for Invicta.
And it looks like down to the southern side, Godplay with a really good position holding out Team Clueless here as they're trying to push into the zone. The Chosen, unfortunately, one goes down trying to get that res. They still have 3 up after that res, so they have a good opportunity to push up against Godplay. Only 2 of them left, so 2v3. They're holding the side of this blue zone, though, and we can see Bats, the right inside zone across the street. They might get a little bit interested, so we have to keep an eye on that, as now the Chosen don't like the blue zone anymore. They're starting to make this push happen. And it looks like Chanel and Blinky are the ones holding it down. Let's see what they're going to be able to do. Blinky starting off with the shots. Unfortunately, he's going to go down. Unfortunately, couldn't get a knock, but his teammate is there. Gets 2. Taken down now to 1v1. Oh,
Ooh,
and
AZ
it looks like,
able to save. Yeah, save the day, and there's no team near them for the time being because they're right there on the edge of the blue zone. So AZ might be able to get this pickup. As I said, got the pickup, but the blue zone starting to collapse right now. And that's when the game plan changes. AZ is like, I need as many meds as possible because they are extremely far from that next zone. So we'll see if the blue zone does take them out because we're popping on over here. Noel looking to rotate in to the compounds over here. That wide rotate, I believe, was able to secure them a foothold right there on the edge.
I really like that rotate, actually. They don't like the hills. They know that they wanted these compounds a little bit safer in terms of people being able to pop up on top of them. We can see that, I mean, Storm, they were here first, but now instantly running away. They don't want to get involved with this at all. So Storm Gaming, away they go. Null effectively taking this one warehouse from them, but obviously their next movement to get further inside the zone is still towards Storm Gaming. So they're going to have to fight eventually, but they're going to pull back at least for this zone so far. They don't have to worry about anybody inside the jungle because of that rotation.
Yeah, over here in the lumber yard, there's a lot of tricky spots, so looks like they will be neighbors for the time being. But Bat, non-stop, every single time we check in with them, they are in a fight. 3 kills so far. They're trying to keep up in the 7. Oh! Okay, the double right there with the Tommy gun, rotating into the safety of the compound. Looking to get some additional angles. The solo or the squad does look like the duo from stands will have them somewhat sandwiched for the time being. And then Chosen, the Chosen up there on the high ground, third party in this fight as well, just making it that much more difficult.
They're going to have to keep on pushing in this direction as well based off of where this next zone is. Looks like they spotted out one of the members from Stanza 7's trying to shoot through that window, doing some damage. Unfortunately, can't take him down. And Landlane unfortunately accidentally canceling the med kit, maybe canceling it so his HP goes down a little bit further, but he is currently the last one up for his team. He has to continue to be really careful, now kind of in a healing match, because I mean, both Bab Voodoo and the other team were just inside zone here, could potentially do enough damage to take him out. He kind of was waiting for them probably take this fight before he makes a move towards this zone. And even in the distance, we can hear the sound of bullets. Just everybody at this point, because of this zone pushing up to the north, means everybody has just been running this entire time getting in fights.
Seriously, we got 4 teams down here in the blue. Vamp is in the blue, Stanza's in the blue, the Chosen. Landland's still trying to heal up right now, so best of luck. Hopefully you have those meds to at least get some additional placement points here. 12th place will get you 1 point. If I don't even know. They got to heal to 7th place to even get 2 points. This is going to be a challenge.
And it looks like Null decided to take their vehicles once again, setting it straight into zone. Unfortunately, this time not working out as well. 2 of them down. 2 of them are still alive, but not in the best position. At least they're still inside zone. It looks like 2 of the teams on the edge, both Spat and Stanza, both taken down. Same with Semper and Invicta. 9 teams now actually left as Null trying to go for the reses, but as we can see here, Pakistani Rising Star. Ooh, Mafia with the nade who could potentially take down 3 of them.
Not only that, Team OP right above them. No, they are just pinched right there. So that grenade was good, but then we saw one of the members from Team OP just crest on the hill and say yoink, taking that point, putting that underneath their name. Make that 6 kills from Team OP. And they have the high ground. Yes, they don't have the zone, but they got another kill. So they're going to be able to use this hill, this little mountain, to pretty much rotate and not expose their sight lines to these teams down here looking to take them out. And one of those teams that I'm looking at, Taco Lovers, they're going to be looking right up here on the high ground.
Ooh. Unfortunately, that's Brand. A killer really needed to connect here because now Adele is completely in the open. Oh, found himself a little bit of a car, but nope. It looks like Kasuf with that up is going to be able to take him down. Storm Gaming eliminated. And you're right, they have this ridge. They're in control of all the peaks. If they wanted to, all they have to do is continue to look over, be careful with the peaks. They're in charge of them. If anybody is to try and push up on top of them. So Taco, Rejects, Qatar, all of them pushing up on top of this hill. They're at the disadvantage. They have the low ground. They're not in control of the peaks themselves, and OP, they're going to be able to take full advantage of this, already spotting some out and getting some knocks again.
This is a Team OP game if I've ever seen one. They're literally on the high ground. They got the zone. Baba looking to get this grenade, going for that long throw. Not only that, the blue zone starting to close in as well. Sheep trying to work their way up the hill, UMP in hand. No match for Team OP. Look at that. Where's your health, man? No health, still winning the fight. 11 kills on Team OP.
At this point, they're probably like, where's the last person? Kind of confused. They know that it's a 4v1 somewhere, and we can see that it's just a solo left for Vamp. He's trying to heal his way on in. That was actually his last first aid, so that means that is his last stand. Trying to go for a little bit of a peek. Maybe he can get a knock before it goes out, but no. He's just going to go on ahead and accept his fate, and it looks like OP has taken their second win in a row, back-to-back, and I mean... I'm not quite sure how many points they're able to pick up, but they might be really close to 60 points. Obviously, we're going to take a look at those match standings shortly, but Dave, again.
Listen, you got to be a top team to make it to the finals. So top team, they said, okay, we'll be a top team after today. I got to give it to Solo, though, from Vamp. I just want to point out because Solo, they're one of those, Vamp was one of those squads that was kind of down there towards the south in that mosh pit with VAT, with a lot of those teams who needed to just rely on having one person heal up. That was around 12 teams left. So they were able to not get taken out in 12 for one placement point, but instead heal up to second place for 12 points. That's huge. That's what we were talking about before this game. The Mets, so critical to have that backup to the backup plan right there. And Vamp, Solo, had it. All right, had it the whole time. 12 points, that's huge for them.
And let's actually take a look at those match standings to see if they're able to pick up some kills as well, or how good all these other teams were able to perform. But at the top, of course, Team OP, 15 placement, 11 kills this time for 26. So one less point from their last game, but still impressive nonetheless. That is a lot of points for themselves. That is over 50. And so Vamp with second is going to get 15 total points because that second place, 3 kills. Then Taco Lovers fighting the top 3 this time, 13 points for themselves. It looks like a lot of those teams that were in that really difficult situation along that compound just at the bottom of the road, they did get into this top side, but that's because at that point it was late game, surprisingly. So the very end of this zone only had like 4 teams inside of it. So Team OP in charge of that bull really just got to peek on over and just take them all out.
Oh, they were definitely in charge. That high ground. Not only that, like the zone started to close in. They sent 3 to kind of push further into the circle and kept, I believe it was Killer, behind to kind of play that cleanup and make sure that nobody could sneak behind them on that ridge that was truly providing some phenomenal cover for them to rotate around in that final zone. So Team OP coming out on top once again. But let's check out the second page. Let's see who didn't have the best of games here on Sanhok. And we're seeing some of the same names. We see Stanza down there. We see God play down there. Self-made as well. It was a challenging Sanhok map though. The zones just weren't favorable for a lot of these squads. Every time we saw self-made, they were pushing. They were pushing to chase down the circle. They didn't really get that favor like some of these other squads did towards the top.
No, it's just north, north, north. Everybody had to run, and unfortunately, that means that everybody on the southern side obviously is just running the entire time, getting in a ton of fights, and that's just not the best position you want to be in whatsoever. Another team I have to point out is Null in 10th place for this match with 4 points. This is their second time on this side of the leaderboard, and that was actually a team that we wanted to point out at the very beginning of these games as a team to keep an eye on. And so far, after the first 2 games, they unfortunately it hasn't worked out for them just yet. Unfortunately enough, only half the games for today are over. They still have 2 more games left, but so far it's a little rough.
And if I'm, passing out compliments here, I got to give a compliment to Taco Lovers because you reminded me of circle number 1. They were the southernmost squad all the way down there towards the bottom. And we were even questioning, like, that is real risky. They were all split apart, like, not even close to each other. If one of their squad mates were to get into a fight, there's no support coming. But they were able to take that disadvantage all the way down there in the south, get, I believe, what was it, 3rd place? Was that 3rd place or 2nd place? I already forgot because I'm just cheering for Team OP.
Third.
But regardless, it was 3rd place. Yeah, because Solo got the heal off. So that's 10 points. They somehow got a very strong position towards the end when all of the cards were stacked against them. So pretty impressive. But ladies and gentlemen, that is Sanhok. We're going to send it to a quick break, and when we come back, Miramar.
The OnePlus 9 Pro.
The OnePlus 9 Pro. Oh my god, this phone feels incredible. The best processor, 120 hertz, 12 gigs of RAM, and a Hasselblad camera. What more could you want?
The hyper touch on this bad boy is phenomenal.
The best model of OnePlus phone I have used to date. the OnePlus 9 Pro.
The OnePlus 9 Pro. Oh my god, this phone feels incredible. The best processor, 120 hertz, 12 gigs of RAM, and a Hasselblad camera. What more could you want?
The hyper touch on this bad boy is phenomenal.
The best model of OnePlus phone I have used to date.
Hello everyone, Span Cargo and Mustache Dave here for PUBG Mobile Club Open North America Day 2 Groups C versus D. And again, another great showing from Team OP, picking up 26 points. That means they're at 53 points overall, Dave.
We were kind of theory crafting. Can they do it? Can they match Godsent from yesterday's 4 games? Well, Team OP, the first team to get 2 chicken dinners here in PMCO NA, and back-to-back as well. So I'm a true believer in momentum. I have to assume the momentum, the morale right now, 2 chicken dinners in a row. That's 30 points alone in just chicken dinner. That combined with the fans in the chat spamming easy for OP. Okay, Span Cargo. They can't get 3 though, right? Like they can't get 3 in a row. I don't think so. They can't. No. It's not possible.
I don't want to say anything because if I say that they are, I feel like I'm gonna curse them. If I say that they're not, then I look mean, like because I'm not sure. I mean, they totally could. I mean, they did just win the last 2 games with all 4 of them still alive. None of them have died yet, like at all, with their 2 games that they have competed in. So there's a huge opportunity. There's the ability for them to do well. The only difference is that it is again a different map. It's on Miramar. So will they still be able to show just full domination of an entirely different map? That's kind of what I'm wondering at this point.
And we keep talking about points here. Let's check out the total points, the total ranking. So keep in mind, Group C and D, they still have 2 more games to go. When we look at the total rankings, Group A and B, they played their 4 matches. And you can see right there. And one thing that sticks out on this page, only 2 games played. Team OP right there, 53 points. My goodness. What can you say about that?
I mean, if they continue on this path from this last 2 games, they're definitely going to be grabbing that top position. That's all I got to say. They're going to be above Godsent. Godsent's going to be sent down to 2nd place. Everybody else on this leaderboard other than Team OP were teams from A and B last night. So you're right. They all played 4 games so far. OP is the only one on the screen right now that only played half of the 2 games. Yeah. So them already coming through with 30 placement points and 23 kills. I don't know, just massive for them. And if we go on ahead to the next page, we'll be able to see if there's another team potentially close, already kind of mixing in with the groups A and B. And it looks like the next one will in fact be Semper Invicta in that 10th place. Same with Vamp, Bat Vodao. So a lot of these guys are continuing to do well, if just from 2 games. Taco Lovers as well are all from C and D, mixing with A and B. So they're finding themselves on the 2nd leaderboard. So not too shabby coming through from them either, but just OP is still just I don't even know what to say. Like around here, I'm not surprised, but 2nd place?
Yeah. Team OP definitely like the outlier here when we're looking at all this. Like this is where you want to be, the 2nd page if you're playing here today with 2 more games to go. Like if you're here on this page, you're golden. 2 more games to go. You should be able to at least attempt to breach that 1st page. Let's toss it over. Let's go to the 3rd page here. We got to see all the points. But remember, the goal here, group stage, you got to be a top team. And we'll have some official numbers moving into, I believe, tomorrow or the next day on exactly what that means. But Team OP up there, they're definitely a top team right now. And talking about teams kind of watching some of these squads from the sidelines, we can see with 4 games played, they're going to have a lot of catching up to do in their remaining 8 games, right? Because remember, every group at the
Yeah.
end of group stage, that matches number is going to say 12. Right now, if you are already played 4, simple math, you got 8 more to go. And if you're on this page with 8 more to go, well, it's going to be a race for you, and that's a fact.
Yeah, let's even take a look at the last page, taking us all the way to all of our teams, all 32 teams. We can see how many matches each of these teams have played actually on this side there. And it looks like we only have one team now on this last page that's played all 4, and that is going to be University in 28th place with 6 total points. It looks like everybody else is in the groups today after only 2 matches. So maybe not surprised seeing them all the way down here on the very last page of this ranking board, but still that means a lot of improvement for these teams to go. Again, the only difference as well is actually Storm Gaming, NA, only with 1 match, 5 points. They only have 2 games left to actually increase their number with 1 obvious less game for them.
I guess oversleeping here. Godplay, though, we keep seeing Godplay every single match, and I'm not being too critical on them. The one thing that stands out to me every time we pop over to Godplay is they're just chasing down the zones. And not only that, we always see them mid-game. They already lost 1. They already lost 2. So I think for Godplay to shoot up these leaderboards, I think they need to focus on just trying to stay alive, all 4 alive, towards the mid to late game. And it should do well for them to attempt that one goal here with 2 more games to go, so that they don't end today in that last place, that last page of the leaderboard. So 2 more games to go. Miramar, a lot bigger of a map. Early game, a lot slower pace. It allows a lot of these teams to kind of take a breath, breathe in, breathe out type of deal after such a chaotic Sanhok fast-paced map. So I'm curious to see if that slight reset will help some of these teams towards the bottom here on this Miramar game.
Potentially. They definitely do get a little bit of a breather on the early game of Miramar, but that just means that mid-game, late-game situation is going to be just as intense as per usual, especially depending on where that playing path and where the first zones are going to go. Just a tiny bit worrying, like all these guys being so spread apart, they're really going to have to try even harder to get inside zones. If people are already struggling to get into a good position to stay alive longer and get more points, like coming into Miramar, it's just going to be literally double as hard going from a 4x4 to an 8x8. So they're really going to have to be conscious of all of their movements, making sure that they're keeping on top of their timing to do well going into this Miramar game.
And I hope they do that, because we've seen a lot of squads here tonight towards the bottom of the leaderboards. That's one thing. Every time the zone pops, they're not prepared to rotate. They're not in their vehicles. They're not already ready to go. They're lagging behind. They're taking their time and just getting gatekept and just picked apart on their YOLO attempts to breach that zone. So hopefully, like you said, I agree with you 1,000%. Keep in mind the timing, the zones, and your positioning here. So we'll see what they can do here on this Miramar map. These players, these teams, they're getting loaded up. They're getting ready to go here. Anybody else that team-wise that has been kind of, sticking out to you here tonight in the first 2 games here, Span Cargo?
Yeah, actually, I was actually just taking a look at the first 2 games and their performances, and obviously the only team that's been the most consistent so far is Team OP. Otherwise, those teams that was towards the bottom of that leaderboard the first game found themselves towards the top the second game and flip-flopped for the other situation. The teams more towards that top for the first game, more towards the bottom. The only other teams that were a little bit more consistent actually were Team Vamp and Team Semper Invicta. Semper Invicta, the first game getting 2nd place, and with that last game getting 6th place, and seriously flip that for Vamp. They got 6th place the first game, 2nd place for the second game, and everybody else are completely different teams. So those are the next 2 teams I'm keeping an eye on, because they're the next teams that are doing the most consistent in terms of points.
Vamp definitely hot or cold, though. Vamp, they owe a lot of their points on that leaderboard simply from Solo's heel off there. Solo was able to literally go from 12th place, which is 1 point in placement points, all the way to second place, which is 12 points. So Solo from Vamp definitely pulling out that clutch card on that Sanhok map, and it paid off big time. So hopefully with that reset from the side of Vamp, they could continue on with this momentum that Solo brought them after that Sanhok performance.
I mean, you just need that one person to really do well for your team. Being able to go on ahead and snake yourself or stay alive all the way into that end game portion is going to be completely huge for them. So definitely just a hat off to him and being able to do that, because that's what kept them in the game, going on ahead and getting that 6th place for game 2.
Well, getting ready for game 3. We cannot forget, with the flagship performance and immersive 120 hertz display with the new technology. All right, we're talking new technology out here, like the HyperTouch, built specifically for gamers. All right, you with me, Span Cargo? The OnePlus and 9 Pro is their best shot to climb up the leaderboard. So best of luck to them in game number 3 of Miramar, and shout out to OnePlus 9 Pro. You see that phone, it is a beauty right below us. So we got about 1 more minute to go. Miramar, day 2, Group C, Groups B. Any final thoughts before we get into this game, Span Cargo?
I mean, I think we're both thinking the same thing. Will Team OP get a 3rd chicken? Will they get a turkey? 3 in a row? I mean, we'll see. It's, again, entirely different map. Are they good in all 3 maps? So we're about to see the answer to that. So keeping an eye on them, and also keeping an eye on all those other teams that are kind of being a little bit less consistent. Come on, y'all. You got to go ahead and bring it back immediately. You have to be able to bounce back just like that after 2 games.
All right, listen. I throw this out there a lot. If Team OP get a 3rd chicken dinner, someone's going to say, Dave, you got to shave the mustache. I don't know. That's a big bet. That's a commitment. Whoa. Don't quote me. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, let's get into the game. Load it on up. Miramar, let's go.
Yeah, I don't know about y'all, but I'm pretty sure he just said they'd shave his mustache if they win 3 in a row, but maybe I'm mistaken. Anyway, it looks like our plane is in fact moving across the deserts of Miramar now, and it looks like our plane, I was gonna say, it looks really nicely spread out again, starting all the way up in that top corner by Campo Militar, ending directly below Chuma Serra, Minas del Val. I mean, this plane path is really good compared to the last few that we've had, arguably. So right down the center, especially on such a big map like this, it's going to give everybody the best chance.
That it will, as we still see Goose in the plane, the captain here. Stanza haven't really been having the hottest games 1 and 2 here. Pretty low on the overall leaderboard. Going to be dropping out first. Like you mentioned, Camp Militar. They have a huge buffer between them and everybody else. You know, they had their fingers crossed. They're like, Zone 1, please be somewhere near us up here to the north. If that's the case, well, we were kind of talking about buying some time. That would be great. You know, they have a lot of terrain, a lot of different towns to loot up there. Nobody's near them for the most part. BT, okay, a little towards the south. But if they get that northern circle 1, that is exactly what Stanza 7 could use right now. And, okay. I built it up for Stanza 7. Stanza 7 are just
we were hoping.
having the I was hoping that they would get the luck, but this is like completely opposite. The zone's like, Stanza 7, who? Nah. Oh, my goodness.
Just
that is
yeet
so far
away. Yeah,
wow,
literally went to the complete opposite side of the map than what's ideal for them. They have a long rotation ahead of them now, but there's already so many teams inside of the zone. We can also see Kawhi here trying to run over Sociopath. Oh no! Come on, Noel, you got this.
Get it.
Oh no! So close. Oh, but he's given up. He knows he can't go for it again. He's gonna get a gun.
Oh yeah,
oh,
okay,
man.
yeah.
Kawaii.
I hear some guns out here. We saw trying to go for that backup play, you know, that reverse run over. Very challenging. Oh, yeah, good thing they pulled off that one. And M249 just chilling on the floor right there.
Yeah.
Would have been done. Would have been done and dusted. That's an easy vehicle explosion. So they pulled off right in time. Dude, M249, talk about picking up a weapon. My goodness. But over here, Team Boat.
Ooh, that's a nice shot.
With the mutant. Yeah, little taps right there. The Chosen. So we got a little hot drop action happening right here.
We knew it was going to happen eventually, and it looks like it's going to be on Miramar. Everybody wants Chumasera, it seems, and unfortunately for Mango, I'm a little bit worried about this. He did toss a nade, though. It's going to make Bope lag a little bit, so Mango is going to be able to get a little bit of distance ahead of them, but he needs to continue to be running. He can't even stop there. His team is still a little bit far away now. But there we go. They're now setting up on that warehouse. He can hear the footsteps now in front of him. He's trying to back up, but this could be Jar's perfect opportunity to spot him out, but no, in fact, he actually takes some damage. Here we go. The rest of both are really close by now, though, but still outnumbered. It's a 2v4, and that perfect nade. Mango goes down. It's just King Huya left, taking down around 1 HP. He goes down as well, and that is it. The Chosen eliminated. It looks like Bope got all 4 of them taken down.
Chosen choosing to sit this game out here after that play. They told me they like to get aggressive. They like their close quarter combat fights. But the thing is, you need a weapon. You need some guns to do just that.
Yeah.
So they were taken out right there. Unfortunate. They lost 2 right out the jump. Stands to 7 out here. They know time is not on their side, right? They're as far north as you can possibly be here. Right now, if I'm stands to 7, I'm like, let's get all the vehicles. All 4 members need vehicles. We need to eliminate the risk of getting taken out on rotate, all grouped up, and we just need to get to the zone. Honestly, get to zone, get some type of foothold, and just be happy if you survive that long to have all 4 alive. Like, that's the game plan right now for me if I'm a stanza guy.
Yeah, I don't disagree. Going ahead and make a rotation up into that. Honestly, they might just want to go ahead and go as far over to the western side as possible and take that big road all the way down onto the northwestern side of this circle, because nobody really should be over there. I mean, just based off of the plane path, so that might be the best entrance for them, but that does mean they might have to leave a tiny bit early before that zone really starts moving on in. So we'll see what their choice is, but definitely try and play as safe as possible. Just delay, get running into other people for as long as possible until you absolutely have to, a little bit more towards that late game, hopefully.
Yeah, so we'll see. That's kind of the similar story to a lot of teams right now. We did see Circle 1, all the way down there towards the south. Taco Lovers, we saw them just a couple of moments ago. They were dead center. So Taco Lovers, they have a lot of options, I'm going to call it. They got a lot of options to set up camp. But meanwhile, everybody else just trying to get into the zone. Yeah, Circle 1, it's huge. But it's going to feel awfully small here because a lot of teams are up there towards the north, and they're going to have the same idea, right? They're going to be looking to take over the same compounds. They're going to be looking to possibly take up the same rotational paths. So we'll see what they can do. Team OP taking a real interesting pathway, actually, using the high ground, the hills right there with their buggies. I like it. I like it a lot. But the star from last game, yeah, Team OP, they had 4 up at the end. Great, chicken dinner. But the star of the show for me had to have been Solo right there. The heel of the century, able to get 12 points. So we saw them there just a moment ago. Still getting some loot, still getting some meds.
Yep, and still further inside zone, everybody goes. Everybody, I like that we're actually following Pakistani Rising Star right now, using that hill for themselves, because it's showing that they're really trying to scout their way on into this zone. They hear the shots behind them. They're taking a look up on top of that hill, seeing what else they could potentially play out of. It looks like they're going to be driving right by some of these shacks, continue to go further, maybe up onto the next hill as well, so they can scout a little bit more into this zone. It looks like Godplay kind of want to do the same thing, going to be pulling up into Church, and Church is a great place to play, but it looks like Rejects are going to get here at the same time. They're both going to start fighting for this compound. This is a great spot to be, and they're both pulling up at the same time. Who's going to be able to win it, though? Ooh.
Man, taking some shots, letting Godplay know, hey, we're trying to take this Church for ourselves. And it looks like Godplay. They had a duo. Everybody grouped up right now in the church. Rejects on the outskirts trying to get some damage with these grenades. But Cypher up here on the roof. Talk about the sightlines. Talk about the angles. Cypher's position alone could be huge for Godplay. This is what Godplay needs. They need to get this squad wipe on the rejects. They need these points underneath their belt. Not only that, if they get the squad wipe on the rejects, that's confidence all day long. So we'll see what will occur. Looks like rejects did toss out some smokes, but Iris using the terrain to try to get a little closer. Try to get that flank position.
More members of Godplay getting up on top of the roof. Luckily for them, there's nobody in that compound just to the eastern side of them. They definitely would be taking shots towards them on top of those roofs if there were. Ooh, that nade dropping right next to Blinky will do some damage. Not enough to get him to half or even take him down, but still a little bit of a tickle. Gonna do some damage. Maybe that place is a little bit too dangerous, but both of them are gonna continue to actually hold the top of that roof while Blinky goes down to heal on up. So they haven't entirely pushed them off the roof just yet, because rejects, they know that they don't want to push until they get rid of those people up on the roof.
Yeah, and they're doing such a good job as well. You know, the mollies out there, the grenades. Godplay, at one moment, there's 3 of them on that roof. One grenade, they were so grouped up, one grenade would have done them in. So I really like how rejects are playing this one really slow and really trying to gather as much intel as possible. And you know what? That's only going to help them in the long run, because Godplay on that roof, yeah, they might not be spotted from a third party right now, but we see on the minimap, look who's strolling up here. And I guarantee you, if they hear these shots, yeah, they're downhill. They're downhill, all right? And they got a little way to go, but if they hear these shots, Team OP, they might decide a third party. You never know. So Godplay need to be real careful.
They could potentially go ahead and make a rotation towards that western side. There's a little bit of a ridge on the west of that church compound. So if they go there, they could actually get involved with the fight. So we will have to see. They're at the compound just to the northern side. They definitely hear the shots, the nades going off right by them. But it seems like for right now, they're just waiting probably to see a little bit of a knock actually happen inside of the kill feed to see who they're actually dealing with before they make a move, especially this early on. I mean, with the phase 2, they don't want to go on ahead and move too early, to make decisions too rashly, so still keeping it safe. But the next zone has in fact popped. We can see a lot of people continuing on, and OP actually, they're on their way. They're moving.
Moving and grooving. And that's going to be Invicta.
Oh.
These are those high-level strats. This is how they get the double chicken dinner. There we go.
Kashif doesn't want him using that car at all, yeah.
Not the bus. Not in this terrain. So they did spot out Invicta. Invicta actually on the move as well, trying to reposition. They lost a tire in the process, so Trex, just give it up, man. Just give it up. They are going to be up here, though, setting up some type of camp for the time being. Team OP still down there on the low ground. They're probably going to be playing it slow. Like you said, Team OP, they love to get a compound and just make sure everybody's healthy for that mid to late game. Make sure they got those numbers. And first game, second game, they did just that. They would show up in the late game, 4 alive. Everybody else, they have a duo, a trio, maybe even a solo. Not Team OP. They have all 4 alive, and I feel like that is truly one of their strong suits here so far in the first 2 games.
Yeah, well, I really like that about Team OP, that they're playing more for that placement, taking a little bit slow, wanting to play a little bit smart, waiting for the perfect opportunity to actually really start getting involved, but firstly focusing on making sure that they have an advantage with wherever they're located. That's what I really like. That's how I personally like playing the game and seeing how other people play it. But I mean, so far it's working out for them. Everybody else, of course, there's multiple ways to play this game, and that's part of the beauty of it. So they go more for that. They're not going to get involved with fights too early. They could have, if they decided to be a little bit more aggressive, get involved with that third-party fight at church, but they decided that they didn't want to just yet. Other teams, though, might have been actually taken that opportunity. We can see Chumaceres is now again occupied by 2 teams. Sepper and Invicta still there. And wait a second, it looks like our church fight is actually developed here. Asazuki taken down for Godplay.
This is so interesting because a couple moments ago I saw one of the members from Godplay pop into a buggy. I believe it was Cypher or somebody, and they left. They left the site over here. And now it's just a duo on the roof, Godplay. Getting some nice little perspectives here. Blinky holding down those stairs. But a grenade. If you're the rejects, you have to assume there's going to be a player there where Blinky is. A grenade, a molly. We saw a couple of those thrown earlier in this general area. It could be huge, and that's going to open it up for them to push onto that roof and take out the final member of Godplay. And it looks like rejects. Yep, they're looking to make a play right now. And we see those grenades getting tossed into the tower right there where Blinky is actually. Oh, there you go. That's going to open it up.
Oh, Blinky now. He's the last one up there. We can see his point of view. Uh-oh, he tried throwing some sort of util to flash him, but he flashed himself. Oh no, and that is going to cause him to fall. Rejects finally winning that, so it looks like they did play it a little bit safe. They waited on it, and that's what went on ahead and turned around and make them win that Godplay. Unfortunately, going out in that 14th place position. Now they can go ahead and actually continue on inside the zone, because this wasn't even inside zone anymore once that fight actually started breaking out.
Blinky knew it was going to happen. They just wanted to flash themselves so they didn't have to watch. And talk about some more potential fights here. Well, this one's going to happen. This one's for sure going to have Taco Lovers versus Pakistani Rising Stars. Cheese already getting that grenade arm warmed up. Meanwhile, on the opposite end of this one, Wednesday as well. Tossing out some grenades, popping that buggy, pulling back, trying to group up with their squad mates. But more fights erupting at the same time. Self-made. Looking to make the breach on the guitar. No recoil, though. Able to get that knock. Oh, and no hacks. Look at this angle from no hacks. Not taking those shots yet. Letting Self-Made feel safe and secure. And this is when they prounce. Shark almost getting taken out right there from no hacks across the road.
Was really close, but it looks like he'll be able to stay alive. Now he needs to heal, though. The rest of his team are in the thick of it, though, taking a big fight. Oh, this nade could be huge. If he gets it inside that little window there, it could do a ton of damage. No recoil. The rest of them actually starting to make a rotation up on towards the hill, wanting to make a push onto SM. Some more util coming through. This is the very edge of zone, too, so that blue zone is about to be bearing on top of him. No recoil. Here comes the push. And he gets hurt as well, so it looks like it's just Shark.
In the blue, too, as well. And Shark's position compromised for sure, because no hacks almost took him out just a couple moments ago. I gotta say, though, Qatar, I believe it was no ban, tossed Molly on the outskirts of that broken wall to force that member of Self-Made. I believe it was Y. No option, right? They couldn't use that wall for cover because the molly was burning it down. Meanwhile, at the same time, no recoil pushed the opposite end of that wall to flush them out. So that was some synergy. That was some teamwork right there. And just using utility really nicely. Now, they're going to have to quickly get on the move, though. You know, celebration, it's not time for it right now. They need to get into those vehicles and send it into the next zone. Unfortunate for them. Looks like Team OP is going to be their gatekeepers and Taco Lover. So we'll see what Qatar can do after that fight. I think if I'm Qatar, leave Shark out there. Let the blue zone take care of him. Just ignore that solo.
Yeah, I mean, especially if they don't know exactly where he is, they don't want to go on ahead and risk potentially one or two of their team's lives by trying to hunt him down. That's usually the risk if right when you don't know where that solo is, if you try and hunt them, they could be seriously anywhere, just pop up, completely surprise the team. So they're just going to go on ahead and rotate away. They don't want to deal with him anymore, especially since they're not inside zone. They have to figure out how they're going to get inside, and taking a little bit of a pit stop here, probably going to go and peek on over and try and figure it out. And a little bit further in the zone, a little bit more towards that east, even Stanza, they're trying to do the same thing, actually hold out rejects as they're also trying to figure out a way inside the zone, but that vote out, oh, it looks like they did in fact get found out, and they're taken out in 12th place.
Yeah, it looks like they're going for that ultra wide rotate to avoid those sidelines, but they just were not able to do so, because even in that direction they were driving, they would go right straight in front of Team Null in their compound. So Stanza on the high ground.
Ooh.
1 point so far. Still 4 up, though, so this is looking promising for them.
this is the team that we were worried about because they ended up jumping out of the plane first. They're super far up towards Monte, not a good location whatsoever, but they don't have a bad spot whatsoever. They have that top hill. They have a position where it will give them a lot of information. Obviously, it's not a good place that they're going to be able to play coming into this next zone potentially, but at least they'll be able to see their best options on where to go next. And wow, being able to hold out rejects, being able to pick up 3 kills for themselves, that's nothing to scoff at either. There we go, 2 down. Got to flush out these last 2, and they're gonna have 3 kills.
That was nice. Psyche was stuck like Chuck. That little boulder had their little vehicle for cover, but stuck between Stanza and both Null. I really like that that member from Stanza to make sure to get that point, not let that point slip on out of their grasp to the hands of Null right there. Confirming that one. That was good. That was the call. That's exactly what they need. They need to make sure to get these knocks and these flushes. They need these points desperately. Talk about some potential fights happening over here. It looks like Taco Lovers on the edge. They are real close to Team OP. Still 4 up, by the way. Still 4 up, so we'll see. A lot of squads in this general area. Pretty healthy.
Yeah. Yeah, surprisingly, the majority of the teams I feel like are over on this western side. I mean, I guess that's kind of where the plane path came from. Everybody making a big rotation around onto this side of the zone. And I mean, good thing for them because this next one's a little bit more over towards that western side, definitely down to the south as well. Everybody still has to make a move, though, basically. The solo from Vamp is inside zone. They're going to be quite happy. Looks like Rising Star, I mean, they're just outside of zone. They're going to be able to make their rotation on in. Even B-Town making a move. They have 1 person in so far, but everybody else is not inside zone whatsoever. They're all going to have to move. And it looks like Taco is starting to kind of scout on over, and Hater, they gotta be careful because if Taco just look on over, they're gonna be visible. Yeah, she's already taken the opportunity to take some shots.
And I don't believe Cheese is aware of no hacks in their position right underneath that lip, that second lip. They were taking shots at that smoke out there, so no hacks might be able to kind of sneak their way up that hill and get within grenade range and really catch them off guard. Actually has a buggy as well to utilize. That buggy giving away the sound cues. A little too loud right there. Cheese popping right over the ridge, and now it looks like Qatar sending out the smoke signals over there. Hopefully they don't get gate kept. But look at this, Shark's still alive. Shark is still alive from self-made. Just try not to be spotted here. And it's gonna get caught between potentially Taco Lovers and Team OP.
Uh-oh. Yeah, actually Wednesday being shot at by an entirely different team. It looks like he's taken down to 1 HP, but he's still driving, still able to get away. But here we go. Here comes Debilitator. Excuse me. Taking some shots, Cheese. It looks like Qatar is going to be eliminated a little bit further down to the southern side, but OP with that advantage, that vision could potentially take out Taco Lovers as well. But Shark is going to go on ahead and actually reveal his position. I was going to say that Solo might be able to actually do a lot of damage to Team OP if he plays this correctly, but now they're aware that somebody's close enough to toss a nade, but Killer will still go down.
Wow. That's huge because Killer is the anchor, that anchor role for the squad of Team OP, and they were doing their role. You know, they were trying to make sure nobody sneaks up behind them, so Shark going to be behind them. But here comes Null versus Stanza because Shark quickly spotted after that engagement. But Null, look at the crest over this hill. 2 kills so far. They got some smokes to block those sightlines from the squad up there to the north to allow this fight to occur. Stanza and the smokes, their sightline's going to be extremely limited. And here comes the spray down with the UMP. Trades coming on both sides. Nice. Losing members, but it seems like Null just able to come out on top right there.
Well, honestly, Null is another team that we were kind of, I don't want to say disappointed, but we're kind of confused at their placement so far. So them being able to win that fight, pick up 4 kills, I mean, it's looking good for them. Unfortunately, Stanza 7 was another team we were taking a look at. Unfortunately, they are going to fall from that fight. And now we're at a point, the phase 5 revealing itself. I mean, this is really getting towards that endgame position now. So only 7 teams are left. A ton of these teams are right next to each other. Null, they just finished a fight, already tossing out a ton of smokes because the fight's not over. Semper Invicta now. They're one of the next consistent teams making a push as well. They know that there's people inside of those smokes, and oh, there we go, getting some knocks onto them. They're going to want to continue to push on their advantage here.
All those smokes just pretty much letting everybody know, hey, some players in here, and we see Invicta just pre-firing, you know, just taking all the YOLO shots through those smokes, and it's actually working. I even saw the solo from Vamp, 312, try to get involved as well, take some shots, try to get some kill points. So, no, they had a great team fight just a couple moments ago. They're going to be right there on the edge. But fortunate for them, looks like Team OP will be pulling on up. So there's a tasty snack on the side of Invicta. They're changing their decision to taking those shots over there to make this push uphill. Scorpio with the mollies, trying to inflict some damage. I believe Baba, Baba already bleeding on out and even confirmed in the process.
Well, it's the first time any of them have been lost, and looks like, Kestuve also just unable to keep it up for his team. Except for Invicta gonna be taking out the top dogs. We're gonna have Team OP taken out. They're not gonna win another one in a row. It looks like your mustache is safe for now, Dave.
Yeah, that's what I just thought. In my mind, I'm like, whoo, I get to keep my mustache. Hopefully no one heard that. Yeah, I said it. They got one more game to go. They have been slain. They have been. So let's see, though. This is a good opportunity for Taco Lovers. Still with 4 up. They were able to get the reset. They were able to heal up. They were stuck in a pinch for some time. Looked like Team OP actually decided to go the opposite route and just ran into Invicta.
They're going to continue to make this push, though. They all need this positioning up on the northern side. Nobody else can play here. That solo from Vamp could potentially get involved. Same with Taco Lovers to the side. But no, it is going to be these two teams against each other for this top spot. There we go. Null being able to get one knocked. It's not looking too good. A 1v1. No, it is just down to Trex for Semper Invicta. Null is eliminated. And with this zone moving in, he has to wait to see if he can get these reses onto his other teammates. And Vamp actually looks like he has a little bit of a visitor to the side over there as well, coming in from B-Town.
Yeah, knock, knock. Who's at the door? Vamp wall. We're inside. Getting burnt alive. Molly to the face. Almost able to at least get a trade, but that Molly was burning them, so they were not going to be able to get that confirmed. And checking in with Taco up here Wednesday. Taco Sheep up here on the high ground. Oh, look at this zone. All the teams on the edge because the middle is just, it's downhill. Like look at the middle. Look at the middle right there. Everybody's on the edge just looking at the center where that crate is, and nobody wants to be the first one to move in.
The only cover is that crate, basically. I mean, seriously, if anybody goes anywhere inside of the center of the zone, somebody from an angle is going to be able to spot them out. So right now, they're all just trying to use their ridges to take advantage. Taco doing some damage to B-Town, but Semper Invicta going on ahead and instantly punishing them back, getting a knock onto one of them. Still 2 left, and B-Town, they're in fact going to take advantage of that crate. That is the only cover. Oh, there's actually 2 crates, so they have 1. There's another one a little bit further in, closer to Semper Invicta, but well, this is opportunity for nades, and yep, there you go. Goose already tossing one out.
Toss it one for good luck going fishing. And not only that, don't group up, Trex trying to sneak on top of them. Probably going to throw the smoke and block their sight line so they can get awfully close to them. Now, B-Town, they do have this vehicle for cover, a couple vehicles for cover. And they're trying to block the sight lines right now using these smokes from our squad, Taco Lovers, but they cannot lose sight. There's a squad right on top of them, and now they know they're going to have to defend.
Ooh. Oh, but Trex goes down. Taco getting involved, though, but still Semper Invicta will fall. That's good on the side of B-Town. They don't have to worry about another person up to the north, but now it's just down to our last 2 teams, B-Town versus Taco. And I think by Taco, it's just down to Goose. So can he complete this 1v3? Oh, no. Yeah, 1v3 for his team. Oh, they just know exactly where he is. All of them are going to start making a push on over. Now Goose spotting out Issa, though, trying to do damage, but no. Drake is going to be able to get those last few pieces of damage. Taco Lovers will go out in second, and it looks like B-Town are able to pull it off, Dave.
B-Town, and it happened so quick at the end. I think they had 16 kills. I really liked how B-Town, they made that quick, instinct decision to prioritize the squad collapsing from the high ground. And they set up for it. They were preparing for it because they tossed out, I counted like 4 or even 5 smokes. They made a smoke wall, right, to block those sight lines from taco lovers that were over there trying to take some shots, trying to pepper and pinch them in that little bowl. But those smokes provided just enough cover and just enough time for them to all concentrate on Evicta pushing right on top of them. They took out Evicta real quick and then immediately turned their attention to taco lovers out there to the opposite end of the zone. So that right there, that split-second decision-making from B-Town added with their 16 kills that game, this is a squad that they might just be waking up right now in the third game, and they're looking mighty strong.
Yeah, they warmed up. That was huge for them. I'm actually a little surprised that Super Invicta didn't try to do that as well, because if I'm not mistaken, I believe that Taco Lovers ended up doing some damage to them as well as they were trying to push down onto B-Town, so that obviously didn't help them out whatsoever. B-Town instantly able to clean that up really quickly, actually, and then at the end, Taco Lovers were just down to 2 people left, and they also just got to clean that up quickly. I was thinking it was just going to be down to a little bit of a peak battle, but no, they're able to pick up a lot of points. And let's actually take a look at those standings.
Teamwork makes the dream work. B-Town. Whoa, okay. They had 18 kill points. I thought I counted 16. Nah, they said, Dave, we got 18. My man. B-Town, that's going to help them shoot up those leaderboards for sure. Invicta, they have been pretty consistent here today in their 3 games. Same could be said with Taco Lovers. Taco Lovers, I believe game 1, okay, it was okay, but game 2 and now game 3, placement points all day long, baby. They're doing great. They're doing great. Hot Jukes would be proud.
Yeah. Yeah, no kidding. Hot Jukes would be definitely happy to see that on the side of Taco Lovers. So yeah, Semper Invicta was one of those other teams that I pointed out them and one other team as being the next consistent team. So Semper Invicta gonna go on ahead and prove it again, grabbing that second. But B-Town Taco, even Null actually jumping up here. It looks like they might be coming back. Null finding themselves on the correct side of this leaderboard for the first time tonight. Actually gonna grab 4th place with 6 placement points and 5 kills. I mean, Null, we were expecting things from them. First 2 games didn't go too well, but coming into this third match, I mean, 11 points is a pretty good amount of kills. I said before, I think the about you want to get each game is around 8 if you're able to manage it, 6 to 8 points to really keep in the game.
Yeah, about time. Null showing up here. This is exactly what they need. And then, of course, Vamp still showing up here somehow, just showing up. Let's send it to the second page. Someone sent me a message saying that face on Vamp is 312. I cannot confirm it, okay? I cannot confirm it. I don't know, but that little dude's face keeps showing up on the right side of the leaderboard. And looking at this side, big surprise, of course. Team OP, only 2 placement points. Very challenging game for them here.
Yeah, difficult for them to get inside the zone. I gotta say, this zone was pretty difficult. Anytime the zone goes down to the southern side of Miramar, I get interested because it's my favorite end zones, because down on the southern side of Miramar, I mean, you saw the terrain is horrible and that there's so many ridges. It's difficult to really get vision, and the only cover are those ridges. There's nothing else to hide behind. So if you're stuck in that ending where the center zone is a bowl, like you got to figure out how to make your own cover. So not surprised to see that was a little bit more of a difficult on the side of some of these teams. So OP gonna find themselves on the wrong side of the leaderboard for the first time today, saving Dave's mustache. So they still do have one more game today, though, but at least it won't be a
No. I said back to back. Right? I didn't say 3 in general. I said if they get to Turkey, they might get the final chicken dinner. You never know. They've been on the ball here tonight, but you made mention that zone so challenging, very choppy, the terrain, the ridges, and B-Town. You kind of touched on it. They built their own cover. They had about 3 vehicles. They recognized that crate could provide some cover as well. They sent it to that crate and kind of built their own fort around that crate. And like we already touched on, those smokes to block those sight lines to allow that game-winning play to happen. So good for them. 18 kills. That is huge. So B-Town slaying. Team OP slaying. Who will slay in the final game of the night? Day 2. PMCO NA out here? Well, you don't have to wait too long. We'll be right back after this break.
The OnePlus 9 Pro.
The OnePlus 9 Pro. Oh my god, this phone feels incredible. The best processor, 120 hertz, 12 gigs of RAM, and a Hasselblad camera. What more could you want?
The hyper touch on this bad boy is phenomenal.
The best model of OnePlus phone I have used to date. the OnePlus 9 Pro.
The OnePlus 9 Pro. Oh my god, this phone feels incredible. The best processor, 120 hertz, 12 gigs of RAM, and a Hasselblad camera. What more could you want?
The HyperTouch on this bad boy is phenomenal.
The best model of OnePlus phone I have used to date.
Welcome back once again for PUBG Mobile Club Open North America. Day 2, Groups C versus D. It is Mustache Dave and I, Span Cargo, here bringing you guys the action. We have one game left today, Dave, and so far these games have been, I don't know what to say, action-packed.
That's an understatement. I was in the Twitch chat on break right there, kind of talking with some people, and they brought up a good question for you and I, like who's standing out here so far out of day 1, day 2. Easy answer: Godsent, Team OP. Easy answer, just based on leaderboards alone. But if I had to dive a little deeper and kind of pick, maybe that third option, I think I would say Taco Lovers. I have been enjoying their gameplay here tonight, their consistency with these placement points, and even their decision making with some of these kills, and like which area to prioritize over the other. That right there is a very important kind of skill set, in my opinion, to have in the back pocket. What about you? Any other team that not top 2 maybe sticking out?
I think I'll say HTV Esports because they did start off so strong yesterday, and they are very consistent. I believe their placement points and kill points are almost equal. And actually, let's take
50,
a look
50.
at the overall ranking. It'll give us, I don't know the exact numbers, but taking a look at the overall, it'll probably tell me. Yeah, look at that, 24 placement, 26 kill points, but still, it looks like they're in that 4th place spot because Team OP is still sitting in 2nd. And actually, I was kind of expecting the next time we're going to be looking at this to see them in 1st place, but after that last game, they didn't really pick up that many more points. They're still sitting in that 2nd place.
2nd place, but only 5 points. All right, relax. They got one more game to go. One more game
They brought my
go.
expectations too high.
Yeah, the first 2 games, it was nice. Last game, okay, we'll forget about it, even though they did okay, I guess, 3 points. Okay. One more match to go. Can they get those 5 points? I have a strong feeling they can. I think they can.
Yeah.
The 5 points, I think Team OP can definitely pull that out their pocket and either tie or overtake Godsent here. So we'll see. We'll be looking forward to that. Oh, Wall Street Bets as well. Yeah, we see them 3rd place.
Yeah.
They did really good yesterday, especially in the consistent placement points area. And this right here, the scoreboard, it shows you exactly just that, because if we're looking at placement points alone, technically, they have more than Godsent and Team OP. So we'll see what they can pull out tomorrow. But let's check out that 2nd page. Remember, this is the overall. So these teams with only 3 games played, they're going to play their final game here next.
Yeah, it looks like a little bit of movement now happening. Is still around here where I was expecting the most amount of movement to really be happening. So you can see a lot more people from Z, C, and D inside of this 2nd leaderboard. Taco Lovers still up there. I believe last time, though, were they in... Maybe I'm mistaken. I was going to say, I thought maybe we had them in that 10th, someone in that 10th place spot, but now it's still just for fun from A and B. So Taco Lover's getting closer, though, now in 11th. Vamp still actually not too far behind, just 2 points off.
Yeah, and this exactly kind of proves my point. Like, Taco Lovers, their decision-making is definitely helping them when we're looking at placement points. If they could get a little more aggressive, like they told me, that's what they like to do here, and make sure if they get some knocks, make sure to confirm those kill points. Well, we should see them kind of shoot up onto that 2nd page. Easy. Vamp, though, that dude, I'm telling you, I'm going to go to sleep tonight and I'm going to have just dreams. I'm not going to be able to get that dude out of my head. But let's check out the 3rd page here. And remember, the goal, group stage, you want to be a top team. Those top teams will move to the PMCO Finals where they'll get to fight against invited teams trying to keep their spot in PMPL. So there's a lot on the line. It's going to be exciting. But before they get there, they need to be a top team. And talking about top teams, well, these teams, they got a lot of going to get to that point.
Yeah, at this point, taking a look at the third page now, these guys are not inside of that range just yet. They're really going to have to go on ahead and, after today, do that VOD review and really figure it out how they're going to go on ahead and improve their performance coming into the rest of their games, about to complete their fourth one. It looks like at this point, there still is a good mixture of actually all the teams at this point. You can see the number of matches. It is slowly getting closer, though. All these guys just need one more game to lock in everybody having the same amount of games in. So that's when we'll really be able to, what's the word I'm looking for? Reference each other and compare the groups and how they're able to perform from all 4 games from last night and today. And we do have one more page left. Let's take a look at that as well, the 4th page. A couple more teams. Again, it looks like we do have a couple teams from the first day and the second day now around this location as well. The least amount with 5 total points. And with 12-game qualifier for finals, that's a difficult number to go on ahead and come back from.
On a positive note, though, I want to throw it out there is tomorrow it's going to be Groups A versus Group C. And right here, I'm seeing a couple squads playing today. Group C, for example, Stanza. I think it's a positive note because they'll be able to look at what didn't work today and come in tomorrow with improvements. And it'll be fresh. It'll be fresh in their minds compared to possibly trying to fix those mistakes, taking a day off, and then showing back up. I think it being right there at the top of their head, they know exactly what they need to accomplish to correct those mistakes that didn't work out today, I think is a good thing. So I think playing back-to-back days could benefit, especially those teams towards the bottom. And another thing that can benefit all of us here is the flagship performance and the immersive 120 hertz display with that new technology like the HyperTouch that's built specifically for gamers. You know who has it? The OnePlus 9 and the 9 Pro. That's their best shot to climb up these leaderboards. So, one more game to go, Span Cargo. I'm feeling good. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling good as well. I'm curious to see if we're going to get another Team OP moment or if another team's going to go on ahead and reveal themselves, show up at the top of that leaderboard once again. Just like, we can tell from that last game that it is in fact possible. It's not Team OP just going on ahead and taking all the games for themselves. So will OP come back since they've already won a game on Erangel, or will somebody else be able to go on ahead and show us that they get the chicken?
It's like, oh man, Team OP, they can actually not get first place. Like, that for me is a good sign for other teams in the lobby. Because the second there, I was like, man, Team OP, they're just going to get all the chickens. They're not going to share it. It's going to be such a top-heavy day. But that last game definitely opened up the leaderboards, I guess you could say, for Group C and D here today. So who will get the final chicken dinner? Well, the players currently on the tarmac, loading into the airplane, getting the parachutes ready to go, coming up with the game plan. Let's see what they do here. The final map of day number 2, Erangel, Mustache Dave, Span Cargo. We're going to be heading into the action, and I'm ready. Span Cargo, bring us in.
Oh, here we go, Dave. We're jumping into the plane, starting to make the move on Erangel once again. Second time for the day and the very last match. So all the hype is in this one. This is the game where groups C and D are going to be equal to A and B. Really going to go ahead and show us a comparison. So these guys have to go and show us what they can do. Because after this, there's only a few games left, 8 games left for them to really show that they are here for a reason. Getting tired of that qualifying range. And unfortunately, it looks like our plane path isn't as hype as that, all the way down to the southern side, starting right to the left side of Gaka, ending right underneath Novo. This is a difficult plane path that might spell a military zone.
Yeah, we saw game 1. We had about 4 teams in Georgia pool. So this playing path will allow those teams to possibly go up there once again. I know Vamp, they drop North George, like that's their spot. And I'm not going to lie, I was looking at my notes I had. Solo is the IGL, 312 co-IGL. This team barely even qualified to make it here. And they're all brand new to competitive. So with that in mind, like barely making it here to PMCO, brand new to competitive. Like this is their first time playing at this level. To be on the second page at the end of your first day, that's like a small win, in my opinion, for them. And talk about small wins. Well, circle number 1 is also going to be somewhat of a small win for Vamp if they can quickly get that loot and just get a dominant position up here, because there's a lot of buildings, a lot of terrain open right now for the Pickens.
Wow, zone all the way up to the north, the playing path, of course, to the south. That means, again, we're going to have that difficult situation where the majority of these teams are going to be stuck rotating. Again, wouldn't be surprised to see if our southern side of this zone is really going to be congested this entire game as people are just continuing to try and get to the north. The thing is that this river up to in the northern side, inside of this zone, that's really going to provide a barrier. I wouldn't be surprised to see if a lot of these teams actually decide to try and cross it immediately. So all these guys have a huge rotations ahead of them. You can already see Blinky taking some shots at an enemy driving on by. At this point, what do you focus on? Okay, I'm going to go to my usual drop spot, loot on up, and then later I'm going to figure out finding a vehicle and make a rotation. Or if you're close enough, I don't really like this spot. I don't have loot just yet. I can't loot there because it's dangerous. What if I just drive all the way into zone and then loot up there? Obviously, it's going to be open, but they're going to move fast. Like what? That's what these guys are currently debating.
Well, if I'm Godplay, I'm over here debating if I'm showing up tomorrow. They need to get some points this game. They need to pop off. And by pop off, I mean 5 points. 5 points, in my opinion, would be a pop-off game for Godplay because they really haven't been showing up here tonight. And it has been due to the fact of the challenges that they've faced here with these zones, with their rotations. They consistently lose 1 or 2 members on their rotations. We saw last game. They had a pretty solid position on the church, but then they sent one out for some reason. So we'll see what they can do here. A lot of teams kind of in that same boat this game. One of the teams, Taco Lovers, once again, similar to that Sanhok game, as far south as you can be. Well, you bet. Taco Lovers, they're down here. Military base. They're going to have a huge challenge ahead of them. And honestly, if I'm Taco Lovers, I'm not going to be against if the IGL or somebody on the team says, hey, why not take a boat? Maybe a boat. I would not be against that at all because there's some water in circle number 1. And, we were talking about Godplay earlier on, looking to get some kill points, looking to get some points this game. This is perfect. Okay, they're making a pull-up.
Yeah. This is the opportunity. Look like it's them versus Team Bope Esports. 2 of them inside the compound already. All of Godplay on the western side. Looks like all of them actually coming a little bit closer. Meme now running across the sand to get closer. Other member a little bit too far away, but wait a second. One of them's going to be driving out while the rest of Godplay continue to rotate. I wonder if that one that's driving, Cypher, is he trying to get information, call out where they are? But here we go, out in the open. They're going to start it off with a Molotov. He might be able to pop up and do some damage, but so far not quite there just yet, and Cypher actually goes on ahead and crashes into the situation. It's a 3v4 now. If Godplay goes on and makes the push happen, it looks like they don't entirely have all the gear that they need, though. And it looks like Godplay, Azuki gonna go down first. Oh, but Gyro gets taken down and instantly flushed out, so still keeping it a little bit even. Here we go, Flacco getting a knock on a Blinky. Chanel and Cypher still alive for Godplay. It's just them left. The rest of Boat a little bit far away. It looks like it's a 2v2 situation. They're trying to toss in some nades now. But here we go. 3v2 starting to make the push.
Both squads have 1 confirmed on the board. Cypher up there on the second story. Now going to be the last one alive. Tossing a grenade. Trying to buy them some time right now as their squad mate on their knees. Bleeding on out. Now thirsted. Godplay was the team to be the aggressor in this situation. They got 1 point, but now the solo Cypher in a 1v1. v3 situation. Still going to be tossing out these pre-nades, just anticipating the push that you have to assume is going to happen here very shortly.
He's gonna go on ahead and pop an energy drink. You could hear all the footsteps below him. He knows it's gonna happen eventually. I'm a little bit surprised that they weren't together. Chanel was down on the bottom floor while Cypher was upstairs. I think that might have went on ahead and was a little bit of their downfall, not being able to play together. It looks like both they don't want to push up the stairs since they don't know exactly where he is. They're trying to toss some nades, but Cypher is just going to go ahead and hide out in some smoke for right now. I wonder if Bope's going to actually be aggressive on this and try and take him out, or if they're just going to try and forget about him. We'll see. It looks like maybe they're starting to make a little bit of a move towards those stairs.
Stairs smoked out. Cypher bolting onto the balcony. Gonna be hitting that prone. Definitely giving Team Bope a run for their money. You know, I mean, look how much time Team Bope are committing to this solo here. They had the clear advantage. Cypher reloading the barrel. Here's footsteps everywhere. I have to assume the nerves, and I think Team Bope recognizing we can't all push. All three of us cannot push up here because they might vault out. It might escape, so they're starting to surround them.
Oh, looks like they found themselves a little bit more util. Now they're pushing upstairs, all three of them. Now on the top floor, trying to find where Cypher is, trying to play together. They don't want to go on ahead, and they're playing for the trade. You know, they're going to get one down while the next one pushes, and it looks like they finally found each other. Don't even need it. Meme just spots him out. A little bit more bullets just for a good measure, and Godplay is the first team eliminated. And that means that other team, they have to go on ahead and hurry on up because they are not inside this zone. The first zone should be closing, and all these other teams, they've had the opportunity to make this rotation into a good spot inside this zone. They're going to be a bit behind.
I have to give it to Godplay, though. I do. They got 1 point, okay, but they saw their score coming into this final game, and they're still going to have 8 games to play, so they have games to come back up on leaderboard. But they knew exactly what they needed to do. Drop somewhere, try to get involved early on where the chance of a third party isn't as high. So they had a game plan coming into this game to try to get some early kills. They were on the rotate. They recognized there's a squad over there. No hesitation. They all pushed it. They all knew exactly what the plan was. The plan was take this fight and obviously win that fight. So I give it to them in that aspect, that they came into this game with the plan and they executed the plan. It didn't work in their favor. You know, mistakes were made, obviously. But
at least they're aware of what they need to do. That's
what I'm saying. They know what they need to do. And that right there, for some squads, is a challenge in itself, right? So Godplay didn't work out, but I like the initiative. That's all I'm going to say about that. I like it. What about you, Span Cargo?
Oh, no, I like it as well. I mean, they obviously came and realized what they needed to be working on. So it had good intentions. It was the right idea. They just unfortunately couldn't quite pull it off. But at least they're aware of what they need to do and what they now need to work on coming into these last 8 games, right? So I think that honestly is the biggest step for that improvement. And that's exactly what these teams are wanting to also find in these games, is that improvement. So it looks like unfortunately it did quite work out for them, but they're done for the night. They'll be able to go on ahead and do that VOD review, kind of reset their brains, get ready for their next matches coming up. And taking a look at that next zone shift, it looks like it's continuing to go up to the north, a little bit further towards the east, actually. Oh, Trex Falls. And everybody at this point is inside zone, except did you see Taco Lovers were still on the island all the way down to the southern side?
I'm looking at B-Town. They are still feeling themselves from last game. They got 18 kills last game. Grave doesn't even need the health. They're making the pull-up. They're making the push right here. Invicta, they have been pretty consistent here tonight. Scorpio and Goose on the outskirts right now of this compound, trying to provide the support to Irish on the roof. But look at Peaceful on the outskirts as well, playing that anchor, that off angle, making sure that their squad mates can safely push this without being peppered. Let's see if they can successfully push this, though. Irish up there, pretty much just waiting. Look at all the smokes as well. You cannot see nothing. Grave free fire through the smokes. You need to be cautious, though. Goose on the outskirts trying to provide that support to Irish, and that knock, okay, that's going to start the fight. Goose going to be pulling up, trying to help their squad mate. Everybody's trying to save Private Irish right here. But Goose popping out the McLaren, spotted and knocked themselves.
Well, that means Irish and Scorpio are downstairs trying to make the push. It's a 2v2 inside of that garage building. And here we go. Peaceful making a move on over. Probably will get that res on Grave. And right when that happens, the push should again come through. A entire 4v2 situation. So Semper, it's not looking too good for them. But wait a second. Oh, wait. Peaceful actually goes on ahead and falls. Yeah, I think they're getting third partied from somewhere, if I'm not mistaken. The team over towards the western side. Who is that over there? I couldn't quite see it. The green team. Oh,
I believe that's going to be self-made.
They're getting involved.
Yeah, self-made. And I'm looking at Scorpio right now trying to defend these Teslas. Scorpio back against the wall trying to toss these grenades to that tiny little window. Irish reposition their vehicle. You have to assume with the odds stacked against them, they're trying to come up with some type of game plan on how they can safely evacuate this area.
Nice.
Ooh, that grenade on the Peaceful. Well, oh, but Irish. Oh, in return, Scorpio real low in the health department. But look at that. Self-made still with the third party on the outskirts, chunking down Drake quite low, about 50% HP. And that's going to buy Scorpio some time. And yeah, the third party, self-made. They said there's a party? Where's our invitation?
A little upset they're now getting involved here. I mean, the thing is that since both teams had knocks, they're able to reset a tiny bit. So B-Town is still up to 3 left. Self-made, entire 4-man fresh with this fight. They have a huge advantage. Uh-oh, unless they nade themselves. Finn, got to be careful with that one. But it does look like Siempre are going to continue to get in this fight. B-Town, another one falls. Siempre getting another one as well. I think it's just down to Drake and Self-made trying to do some damage from afar. All the rotations are coming through. Irish versus Drake. Drake just wants to get out of there. Look, he's in the buck. He's just driving away. So it's just down to Irish left against Self-made now.
Oh, and they're just right there. Yep. Wow. Yep. And oh, wow. Talk about teams taking the initiative. Self-made, recognizing that long, drawn-out battle. They heard the shots. They scouted the compound, and they were third party in that fight. And then they pulled up to clean, to seal the deal. Kill points right there. 3 points. That's a nice push on their end. But all this all the kill feed, you know, popping off, well, that's gonna attract some other sharks lurking in the area, aka taco lovers now.
They got really close, and I think right when they realized that the fight was over, we saw them turn around in that mini-map. Now they're just kind of further away on a ridge, peeking on over, seeing if they can spot anybody else out. They can't, but I gotta say, there was a survivor from all that fight, so I'm curious to see if Drake is gonna pop up later on and actually further inside the zone. We didn't really get a chance to look over here because all the fight that's happening. It looks like Rejects found themselves a good spot to play at this crossroads, and they do have neighbors. This is the Chosen right across the street, and even OP taking the compound down to the southern side. These are very good typical locations to see teams play inside of, especially if the zone is going to continue to pull up to the northern side here. So have to keep an eye on it. All great spots, and even I think I saw a member of NOLA unfortunately knock himself.
Oh, no. Last game of the night. Hopefully they'll be able to get the pickup over here. It does look like Rejects and the Chosen at the crossroads right here, kind of at a standstill. Ooh, but Landland peeking their head out the corner, the window. Gonna be spotted just a little bit, and Psyche gonna be spotting out Team OP out there in the distance. Team OP, they don't have the hard cover, but they do have some dips to work with up there. So, I don't know. All these teams, they don't necessarily need to be ultra aggressive in this situation. I think the goal for all three of those squads, see if they can get an easy pick, an easy knock, and just kind of eliminate that utility from their enemies. If it's meds, if it's armor, you know, take out the helmet at this point in the game, that's a win.
Yeah, no, I don't disagree. Oh, here we go. Bat, and they saw the opportunity to do some damage to Storm Gaming, so they're going for it, doing a lot of damage to their vehicles. Look at all of them. Ooh. One of them almost going down to the blue zone and the damage that was put upon them, but they're just going to be able to get out. Bat vote out, probably not happy from that whatsoever, but unfortunately unable to go on ahead and continue to make a push onto that, because if they did, it looks like they might actually get involved with Qatar as well. So got to be a little bit careful. We can see the zone has popped as well. Actually hard shifted over to the west. Holy smokes, everybody just needs to send it into this new zone. This is far away from a lot of teams.
Yeah, this is a huge win for taco lovers out there on the west. Now, I'm looking at Team OP though. They're in a position that they have the potential to get a lot of kills. As we see Qatar just get blown up right there, unlucky. But I'm curious, what can Team OP do from their position? Are they gonna play passive and just wait it out, let these teams kind of leapfrog around them, or are they gonna try to gatekeep them? And talk about gatekeeping, you called it. There's so many teams out here to the north, and they're just hoping that they are not going to be spotted, hoping that they're not going to have the same death like we just saw there from a couple members of Qatar, because this is extremely dangerous over here in the north.
Yeah, but everybody's just trying to find a spot to play on. It looks like, unfortunately for Qatar, they're also going to be eliminated, trying to play inside that little shack, but they're going to be evicted. Somebody else wants it for themselves. It looks like Paxton Rising Stars. They're going to be the next ones that get even close to taco lovers all the way on this western side. They're trying to play this little ridge far away from everybody else. This is the furthest point from the zone. It hard shifted over to the west. This is the furthest west, and usually teams, if they don't have a good spot to go, they try to get all the way to the furthest side of that hard shift, because that's where the least amount of teams are going to be. So looks like Rising Stars, knowing that, going to find themselves over here. Unfortunately for them, there is taco lovers, but they should be able to find some cover unless Runts goes on ahead and does that. Finding another knock onto another member of Rising Stars. So they're just 2 up now.
Yeah, Rising Stars feeling a little too confident with their nice rotation, kind of underestimating who might be near them. They were taking shots on the vamp, and those shots immediately alerting the taco lovers right ahead, right above them. So now they're going to be just getting peppered on over there. And checking out over here, though, no, looking to make some plays, both right in front of them. See one of the squad mates from Null just hitting the grass, throwing it. We got a little mini grenade battle right now erupting.
Yeah, this is the moment all the smokes and all the util are being used. It looks like Rising Stars are in fact actually being eliminated. Unfortunately, couldn't play to the west like they were hoping. There we go, and Nate actually catching for Null onto the side of both, being further away, trying to do some damage, but ooh, Flacco on the front line. It's not looking too good, and here comes Kawhi. He's just driving on in. He wants to go full force. He wants to get the information, and that might be enough information for the rest of his team to actually continue to push in. Maybe on this next wipe. Here we go, next move over, spot off Flacco. I think they're trying to go for a run over.
They are definitely trying to get the run over. Riding donuts right now. 3 times, 4th time is the charm. And providing the perfect amount of distraction for their squad mates to kind of just steamroll right behind them. And just in time as well, because the next zone does pop, so they need to quickly get the heals, get the resets, max out their health, and reposition. And talk about teams trying to get the run over. Ooh, Team OP making the pull up. Drake in the shack. Drake gonna be stuck in the corner. 2 members of Team OP knocking on the door with the drop shot. Drake done. B-Town eliminated Team OP. They got the shack. They got the cover, baby.
Yeah, I was a little bit worried that OP was going to go on ahead and get involved in that fight a little bit further to the southern side with Null, but it looks like they ended up being involved with the solo, so they couldn't quite do that, but they got the res onto Baba, probably going to heal on up before continuing to move. Instead, it looks like Self-Made are going to be pulling up straight onto Null, so still a ton of fights still breaking out, because again, this zone much too small for all these teams. 10 teams in only one tiny zone. They got to figure this out. Oh, Formal getting a little bit too close. They're trying to find a place to play, but they're rolling up on an OP.
Trying to sneak up on them with the Tesla, but they were able to spot that one out. Baba behind the tree, trying to throw out some smokes, trying to possibly group up with their squad mates. But no, they are feeling themselves. We saw them earlier trying to get the runovers. They're not done yet. They're full sending it right now on the biggest team in the lobby. Team OP, Baba forced to defend. That tree was taken out. Noel in the smokes, health extremely low over there. We'll have to get back to that fight because look at this. The Chosen and Stanza, they're duking it out as well.
Well, ton of smoke here trying to provide them some cover, but you can see both Stanza and TC, both of them have people down. It's not looking too good. Another team starting to get involved on the northern side of that road there as well. Oh, can't quite see who it was, but they're trying to make a push. It looks like Stanza are currently stuck down below, but wait a second, Team OP eliminated, actually, in 9th place. Rejects as well. Here we go, Stanza continue to be pushed on. Team doesn't know what they have to do. They need to take this spot from them at all costs. They can't let anybody get involved, even Storm. That is the team a little bit further to their northern side, but they can't really see much because all this smokes. Alexis, though, going all at it. They want to get as many kills as possible as the last member out for their team. They're trying to make a push. Oh, but it looks like they're unfortunately not quite going to be able to make it, and Stanza also falls.
Yep, the Chosen just racking up a lot of kills right there on the edge. And no, finally popping off here. They had a pretty solid game number 3, but game 4, completely different team. They took out, you called it Team OP a couple moments ago. But checking back in with Taco Lovers. Remember, they dropped military base. And they've been playing the edge. They've been getting pretty solid shifts in their favor. They're going to need to worry about self-made right in front of them. Both of these teams trying to get that little sliver of that next zone. But it's going to be a challenge because there's not a lot of cover. And Shark in the U.S. Uh-oh, I'm getting a little nervous here. Taco Lovers all grouped up. If Shark recognizes this, I mean, one YOLO stand, one grenade could be it.
Ooh. Looks like the rest of his team decided to go ahead and send it straight towards shooting range, especially because of this next zone shift. But now he's the last one alive. Finn, Kurt, both going down. Oh, and right beside Bev Vodao. That is why Jerway is tossing a ton of nades over at Tim and Fam Van An that are left. And Team Null are now making their way on over. They're kind of stuck inside of these ridges. Null could completely take advantage of this. Got to be careful because another team inside the zone, purple team, could actually do damage to them as well. And that's actually Vamp.
Oh! Grenade
that's
to
nice,
the face.
not gonna know.
You can have it. That was a nice grenade. That was cooked to perfection. Hopefully Noel can toss out some smoke. She got this. She got a ton of utility after all the squad wipes they've been occurring here at this match, and maybe get that pickup. Yeah, that's exactly what they're going to be doing right here. But do not count out Vamp. They still have 4 up. They have the numbers advantage. They have a nice spot up there to the north.
Yeah, they're inside zone. They're completely safe. They just have to wait for everybody else to get closer. Noel's also 4 up, but the thing is, they're on this southern side with so many other teams. They're going to be fighting their way, and a huge opportunity for them to lose one. But there we go, pushing on to Bat. It looks like they want to get involved with them in Self-Made. And here we go. It looks like Fam Van and going to go ahead and try and take out Self-Made, while Noel is also spraying inside the smoke. It's complete chaos. I can't even see because of these smokes. So there we go. One taking cover inside of the vehicle. Wants to be safe for right now. Yeah. Self-Made's out, but it looks like Bat is going to survive.
That was the biggest brain play I've ever seen. Just popping the vehicle and Self-Made. They were the ones that got taken out from Noel. This little trench, so dangerous. And not only that, look at all those smokes. Those sight lines, there are none. So you're going to be in the smokes. You really have to rely on your senses here. And I can only imagine the pressure that is currently being applied on this trench from up there on the high ground. Taco Lovers as well. I gotta give it to Noel. They're still managing to stay alive, still with 4 up right here in such a difficult position.
Yeah, Vamp and Noel, both of them with 4 up. Oh no, unfortunately it looks like Noel will lose 1-2, actually. So it's just 2 of them left. So the Vamp with the 4-man looks like they will spot out the solo from Taco Lovers, just floating out in the middle of nowhere. The Bolt could go ahead and eliminate them. So we have 4 teams left. Oh, and it looks like Foremost spotted, so Null is just down to 1. Vamp might want to make the push onto that, but if they do that, they're going to have to take out the team in between them first. It is TC, Team Chosen. Lanlan, AZ, both hiding down by that little half wall there. A ton of util now popping towards them, but unfortunately can't quite catch the damage. So, I mean, right now it looks like at this point, Vamp 100% has the high ground, has the opportunity to win this game completely. There's only 4 people between them and the win, and they have them completely surrounded.
Yeah, they just need to make sure not to throw and get it knocked out, right? They need to make sure that these solos do not knock them out. And Kawhi, the solo here from Null, not a lot of mess. Probably won't be able to out-survive this one right here. 4th place, though, equivalent to 8 placement points, plus their 9 kills. Well, that's a pretty solid game. Bat, still, that solo member, that big play, jumping at UAS, wow. I mean, they were able to out-survive Self-Made. But let's see, Vamp looking to clean this one out.
Yep, no, there they go. Vamp now pushing on in. Only a couple more people to flush out, but it looks like, oh, at least Bad Voodoo has a great hiding place, so he might be able to grab second. Yep, it looks like that is the case as the Chosen get eliminated, but this is Fam Van Ant's time to shine. It's him versus an entire 4-man. He sees all of them on the other side of that little half wall there, and his time is now running out. Vamp, they're slowly clearing places. They should know that there's only one place left for him to be. There we go. I think they figured it out. And there we go. The bullets coming through. But, oh, I wanted to see if he was able to pick up one. But unfortunately, there's just too many of them. And it looks like Vamp are going to go ahead and secure the last game for today for themselves.
That US play, 12 points. They only had 1 kill, so they're going to walk away with 13 points. But I'm telling you, that US play, I believe when they made that play, I think I counted 5 teams still alive. So that was like 6 placement points if they got sandwiched right there. But instead, just able to survive. The quick decision making to pop in the vehicle. Yeah, you were in the smokes, but pop in the vehicle and just, heal it out and just hope no one witnessed that. 12 points. But hey, what a day. We had 2 chicken dinners from Team OP. They have been slaying all day. And then B-Town coming on out, 18 kills, the chicken dinner. And now I think Vamp almost matching that here when we're talking kills, because at the end they had like 16, 17 plus the chicken dinner. So that right there, it goes to show you like this lobby, it could be anyone's game.
Yeah, after the first 2 games, I was kind of scared there was just going to be a runaway from Team OP, but I really, really wanted to see some other teams going ahead and show themselves off. Like, they know that they're here for a reason, they can do it. And I mean, luckily after the first 2 games, the other teams did go on ahead and start being like, wait a second, we understand this lobby now, we can go on ahead and win this game. And a couple of those teams did go on ahead and do so. And to me, I love to see it. That creates a much more competitive scene. You can see that all of these teams are really trying their best. All the situations really difficult to get out of, but teams are succeeding in doing so.
Well, let's check out the rankings now. Now every team has 4 games played underneath their belt, so we get a better idea on the competition here. Oh, but before we get to that, though, we cannot... Oh, Vamp? Okay, I thought this was the game ranking. No, this is total ranking. Vamp, we were talking about this team coming into today. That little dude with the vampire teeth. I would have never predicted first place at the end of today. I'm mind blown right now. I thought this was like post-game leaderboards. No, this is the total rankings right here.
I believe that they were around that 8th place spot or something coming into this game, and because of that win, they got 34 points. It's just going to launch them into that first place spot. So 65 total points. Somebody will, in fact, be able to go ahead and top Godsent, but it is not Team OP like we expected. In fact, those last 2 games, unfortunately, not really able to pick up too many points. They're going to stop just short with 58 points. They're going to be in 3rd for now.
I'm still at a loss of words.
You're
Of Vamp.
shocked.
Honestly, because game one wasn't too hot, but then we saw that Sanhok game solo with the clutch, those 12 points. Those 12
Yeah.
points from healing, it played such a huge role for Vamp here tonight and this overall leaderboard. And then, of course, the massive amount of kills they got this last game. Their positioning was just top notch. And then, of course, the 15 points for that winner chicken dinner. So now, God sent. They're looking at the scoreboard and they're like, we got some competition. All right. They're going to be looking forward to these next couple days. Team OP still holding the record, back-to-back chicken dinners. So they should be pretty excited and proud of their performances here tonight. And then, of course, below them, we didn't see them play today, but Wall Street Bets still in fourth and HTV still in fifth.
Yeah, all these teams. I mean, right behind them, even better than you with 45, B-Town with 47, Strand Paul with 45. Like, I'm reading the numbers because all these teams, while they've been jumping each other this entire time, there is barely a gap anymore, I have to say. There was a gap after game one. Gobset had 10 more points than the team right below them, but now, including all of the teams, it looks like everybody is seriously just one game away from jumping so far up that leaderboard, just launching themselves into a really great position. And that's just going to create more tension coming into the next game day, coming into tomorrow, because all these teams, oh my goodness. Well, they're so much closer. Every single game really does matter. They can't mess up anymore. Let's go ahead and take a look at the second page as well. These guys also in contention of being those top teams to move on.
Yeah, I love how the leaderboard is definitely shaken up here today. And just a reminder, like, the top teams from group stage will be the ones moving into the PMCO Finals to compete for that spot to make it into the PMPL, of course. And this page right here, if you're on this page, well, you're set in a pretty decent position, looking forward ahead to your next 8 games. Like, you're there. Like, you are in a perfect spot to take advantage of your 4 games played. So you should be really proud of yourself to be here, and the potential to be one of those top teams on that last page that we just saw right there. So Taco Lovers, pretty good day. Invicta, another team, they pretty solid, 50-50, 23 placement points, 20 kill points. We've seen them in a lot of fights. And Noel, coming out of, I want to say nowhere, because games 1, game 2 wasn't good at all. So these last 2 matches, definitely pulling that rabbit out the hat, which a lot of people expect them to be able to do here, and ending the night in 12th place. So they definitely made that comeback here.
And honestly, that's really exciting. Honestly, Bat Vodal also doing really well, especially in that last game. They were the ones that jumped inside the U.S., being able to grab that second place spot for themselves. Same with Team Chosen 25. Curious to see on that third page what the total is there, because still all these teams are pretty close to each other. Yeah, there you go. There's the third one. So it does look like there's a little bit of a 5-point gap, but still, we obviously know that some of these teams have been picking up like 30-something points per game. Like, it's still just 1 point away from finding yourself up inside of the top 2 pages of these ranking boards. Like, that's what all of these guys at this point are striving for. This one absolutely massive game, and then they could go on ahead and go back to being consistent, continuing to get a good amount of points per game, but they don't have to worry about that huge game. Just one big game that will set them up.
Exactly, and that's the goal coming into the next couple games that they do have to play. Ornata Gaming, that's a team, a ton of hype, a ton of fans, a ton of people with high expectations. Immortal as well. All it takes, one chicken dinner, and if it's going to be like tonight where our chicken dinners on average, we're getting 25 points per chicken dinner with their kills on average. Like, it's going to shoot you up there on leaderboard. Like, that's all it takes. Let's check out this last page, though. This last page, they might need to put in a little extra work, maybe some overtime here. Still doable, though. Still doable. You never know. Pull out the Team OP back-to-back chicken dinners. Well, that's going to set you up pretty well. But University didn't play today. They got bumped all the way down there towards the bottom. And those kill points right there, God play. they've been getting consistent kills, one here, two there. But we talked about it this last game. Some of these teams, Stanza as well, Storm Gaming, they're starting to realize, like, okay, what do we have to do? We got to make a change, and we got to come into these maps with the plan. And I think Godplay, that last game, definitely had that plan. Be aggressive,
Yeah.
take fights early. They executed it. It didn't work out, but I like the direction they're going. Same with Stanza. Like, I like the mindset, and that's what I appreciate.
I don't disagree. I mean, a big part of it for me is not just seeing everything work out exactly to plan. It is that aspect of, oh, we know exactly what we need to do to get better. Now we have that idea in our minds. They still have 8 whole games to be able to achieve that. And in my opinion, that's what really matters. As long as they keep going on ahead and attempting to do those things to get higher up on that board, that's all that matters. But so now, kind of setting it up, now that we know that obviously we saw them end up playing differently going into those last 2 games, I gotta say, like, they've obviously are self-aware, they're conscious of what they need to be working on, what they need to be doing now, that going into these next games, I really want to see if the next time they try to pull off one of those stunts, if they're going to be able to do it effectively and pull it off.
Yeah, and that's what keeps me hopeful for these squads at the very last page is they know exactly what they need to do now, and we already started to see the changes come into effect towards this last game. So moving forward, 8 more games to go. Honestly, in my opinion, I don't think you can count anybody out just yet. You cannot count anybody out just yet because we've seen 4 games. You can get some massive points. I mean, look at first place right now. I wouldn't have expected that at all. But ladies and gentlemen, hey, day 2, and don't forget, you want to play like these pros. Well, make sure you get that flagship performance, that immersive 120 hertz display, new technology, hyper touch phone. I'm talking the OnePlus 9 and 9 Pro. That's your best shot to make it up the leaderboard. So, ladies and gentlemen, thanks again for watching. Thanks again for OnePlus out there. Hispanic Cargo, amazing day. But we'll have to see you tomorrow. Today's done. I know, you're sad. But we'll be back tomorrow with some more PUBG Mobile. See you then.
The OnePlus 9 Pro.
The OnePlus 9 Pro. Oh my god, this phone feels incredible. The best processor, 120 hertz, 12 gigs of RAM, and a Hasselblad camera. What more could you want?
The hyper touch on this bad boy is phenomenal.
The best model of OnePlus phone I have used to date.